Despite assurances from President Donald Trump that this war is almost completely over, polling is not very good, showing that most people in this country are not really happy about what's going on. And a video is going viral showing Lindsey Graham saying to the anti-Seminetics, I think it's what he said, we get what he's trying to say, and the isolationists, I don't stand with you, I stand with Israel all the way. And it's generating a lot of controversy because while one might understand saying you don't agree with anti-Semites, but isolationists, that's just that's a foreign policy opinion. To say that you would stand with a foreign country, it's generating a lot of controversy. And alongside this, another video from the Joe Rogan podcast, which, of course, if Joe has an opinion on something, they use it as the litmus test of moderates. He says that people feel betrayed by this war with Iran because we did not vote for this. And indeed, polling shows many people are deeply concerned about what this will mean. I don't want to say it's all bad. I mean, obviously, we didn't vote for this war. Most people didn't. But we will see how this stuff plays out. We got a bunch of other stories, of course. CNN ran what may be one of the most insane tweets I've ever seen, where in reference to Islamic terrorists who threw a TATP explosive nail bomb at police and protesters, they said something like some teenagers from Pennsylvania took a train down for what could have been a beautiful day on a otherwise warm New York weekend. And then everyone started roasting them, saying several men took a plane to Washington, D.C., Virginia, and New York for what could have been a beautiful day. Yeah, we get the point. So they're getting absolutely roasted for that. We'll talk about that. But I will tell you, my friends, what's really grinding my gears today, they're running the story saying that Hegseth spent $22 million on steak and lobster without telling you why. They're trying to make it seem like he personally is buying himself $1 million lobster meals. Pete Hegseth is providing meals to the troops, steak and lobster, because it is typically what we do to boost morale. And you know what? You're not going to get me. Of all the things we could complain about with the budget, saying that our men and women in uniform get to have a fine meal for once, you're not going to get me complain about it. And the fact that they would smear Hegseth for doing this is absolutely disgusting. So we're talking about all that and much, much more. Before we do, we got a great sponsor for you, my friends. It is TrueGoldRepublic.com/Tim. Having sound money and financial independence is important, obviously. Hard assets are extremely important. That's why you should check out True Gold Republic. If you take a look at the world right now with active wars, NATO under pressure, the dollar is being weaponized, $36 trillion in debt, yikes. We printed so much money since 2020, your savings get worth, the value declines year after year, and that is by design. Gold can't be printed, it can't be sanctioned, it can't be devalued by a press release. Central banks are buying it at record levels. The people who run the system are hoarding the one thing they cannot print, and that tells you everything. Insert True Gold Republic, real physical gold and silver, not paper, not ETFs, metal you can hold. Check out their Independence Bundle, a physical gold starter kit, a one-on-one with experts, and bonus precious metals on top. You can get the guide. You go to TrueGoldRepublic.com/Tim or call 1-800-628-GOLD. Now, I'm not going to tell you what to do with your money, right? But I'm going to tell you this. I bought gold and silver, and I've taken this stuff seriously for quite some time. And if you've been paying attention to the gold and silver prices, I think, you know, you see with how people are buying this stuff, someone knows something you don't is the only way to look at it. So contact the experts, see if they can help you out. Thanks for sponsoring the show. And ladies and gentlemen, we have the new and improved Timcast.com. And sign up to join our Discord community because many, many tremendous things are on their way. The coffee shop is set to open very, very soon. The members-only events, physical, in person, it's going to be absolutely beautiful. And you get to join our Discord community where we got tens of thousands of people hanging out. They're talking, they're asking questions. And as a member, you can call in to the uncensored portion of the show Monday through Thursday to talk to us and our guests. It's going to be fun. Please support our work over at Timcast.com. And don't forget right now to smash that like button. Share the show with everyone you know. We got two great guests joining us tonight. Why don't we start with you, Leonarda?
Sure. Hi, what's up?
Who are you? What do you do?
I'm Leonarda Jonie. I'm a comedian and, controversial figure on the far right, I guess. I don't know where you're going to put me.
Oh, if you said far left, I'd be more worried. Now I know we're going to laugh.
Well.
Okay, then we won't. Well, all right. So it's fun to have you. We'll have a good time. John Rocker's here.
How you doing? Good to see you again, Tim.
Lean up into that microphone, brother.
We don't have the.
You do whatever you got to do.
I'm gonna sit like this because I don't move around so good.
He's got a bad knee. Let me see if I can lengthen that cord.
The stem cells. I got stem cells.
Oh, did you really?
About a month ago, and Yeah,
Like an injection?
it's still the inflammation's still there. The pain
There we
is
go.
the pain, the crankiness.
Hey, there you go.
Is that for me just me being 51, aged, old? I don't know, or is it the stem cells are slowly eating my body from the inside? I don't really know. What I do know, I'm very impressed is I actually got invited back somewhere twice.
Yes,
This
right.
is my third stint on the Tim Pool show. I appreciate that.
We enjoy your presence.
Yeah, thank
It's
you.
fun. Yeah.
At least every 6 months you do. Every
Yeah,
6
that's right.
months, it kind of wears off. Like, yeah, we got that guy.
I'm glad he's gone. And after a while, we start to miss you. And
come back
you know,
again.
it's like when you break up with a girlfriend, you remember all the good times. And then you start, why did we even ask him to
As soon as
leave?
he walks back in the door, you're like, nah, we'll remember.
Oh yeah, that's what
It was the
happened.
smell.
That's what it is.
Indeed. Well, let's start with the news. Let's jump right into it. We've got this from the New York Times. Unlike past U.S. conflicts, Iran attack is opposed by most Americans. And you know what I love about this? I find it very, very hard to believe that people in this country just generally liked war. But that's what they're claiming, and they'll tell you that. I know they're saying Libya intervention was largely unpopular, but I do kind of feel like they're just saying this because it's Trump, and whatever he does is wrong. But we do have this clip from Joe Rogan that is making the rounds, where I will stress that it is funny that it only matters to people if Joe says it.
That approval rating of World War II at 97% that they showed you, that was after D-Day. That was after Japan struck Pearl Harbor,
Right.
which they had advance notice of. So that's totally disingenuous because before that, it was so low, nobody wanted to go. America was anti-interventionist.
I mean, I look at all of them. People really supported the Iraq war at 76%. There were protests everywhere.
Yeah, well, that might have been after we had the incubator baby hoax that they came in.
No. That was the incubator baby thing was in the 90s, wasn't it?
Was that
Yeah,
the
that's
that was
03
that was the
Iraq
Gulf War? Oops,
We
never
were,
mind.
it was very popular in the beginning because I thought he had weapons of mass destruction. They told us
Right.
he did literally, so we were like, well, we have to stop.
Wait, who told us they had weapons
the
of mass
news?
destruction?
I remember seeing it in 2003 on the news.
There's one
wait,
guy. His
there
name
was-
is the news. There's one
No,
dude.
there was one guy who came in and did a nice little Congress meeting and told them we had weapons of mass destruction. I don't know. You guys might know him.
Colin
They
Powell?
turned out to be 2 donkeys and a box of sparklers.
No, it was
turned out to
Mr. Benji Netanyahu came down in Congress and told them, Saddam
I've never
has
heard of this man. There's
very strange enigma. Of
seems
a
like
figure.
just from his name, sounds like a good guy.
Sure.
Benji.
Let me play this clip of Rogan because look, I understand a lot of people are like, we get it. It's the opinion of Joe Rogan. Well, this clip has been going around because Joe represents, for most partisans, the middle ground. So liberals are taking this as if to say, like, aha, this proves it.
What just seems so insane based on what he ran on. I mean, this is why a lot of people feel betrayed, right? He ran on no more wars and these stupid, senseless wars, and then we have one that we can't even really clearly define why we did it. What just seems so insane.
And that's the gist of it that's going around. Mehdi Hassan chimed in saying, and Rogan believed him and endorsed him. Indeed. And what I love about this, Dave Smith is taking the opportunity to rag on Mehdi Hassan in a quite verbose way, pointing out that he himself is anti-war, but when the anti-war left returned on the issue of Gaza, he says, I never thought to start lecturing them about voting for Biden in order to pat myself on the back and foolishly pretend that this proves their idiocy or guilt or whatever. I was just happy that they were good on such an important issue. And I agree with Dave on this. What Mehdi Hassan has done, and I think it kind of proves the point. Do people really, are they really mad at Trump over this war? Are they really, actually, I'll tell you this. Did people actually really ever support any of these other wars? Because I find that very hard to believe. And I think largely the criticism right now is that it's Trump doing it.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's always Trump doing it that gets the criticism, right? Like people that don't like Trump, it doesn't matter what the policy is. It's just that they don't like Trump, and so they're just going to use whatever the policy at hand is as a way to criticize Trump. Now, I mean, there is legitimate criticism from the right, the people that said, you know, look, we don't want new wars, we don't want to be involved, like that's legitimate stuff. But people like Mehdi Hassan are totally disingenuous. It doesn't matter what Trump does. I mean, Trump could cure cancer, and Mehdi would be like, well, you know, cancer's really not all that bad. He's just totally disingenuous.
And to go back to a point you made, Tim, on behalf of Joe Rogan's comments, we haven't defined why we're there, really. I think Trump has done a fairly good job of doing that. And furthermore, it's Iran. We know their place in the world for the last damn near 5 decades. Do we even really need to explain why we're there? it's kind of obvious as a nose on your face. Yeah, that's why we're there. Duh.
I think the social media psyop campaigns, manipulation, constant foreign interference, all of this stuff genuinely has people fractured in the United States, not really understanding what Iran is, what they do internationally. TikTok being a great example. I certainly understand the criticism that people have over TikTok. The reason why it was banned in the first place and then purchased was because it was deliberately and by its own code anti-Israel. That many people would argue is like, okay, fine, what's the problem? Well, the problem is a Chinese-owned company is intentionally interfering in American politics and social media. Buying it for the purpose of being pro-Israel, I would say, is only slightly less bad. We don't want our social media to be tools of we don't want them to be weapons by the government to get us to support things that are bad that we don't want to support. At the same time, everything I think we're seeing with public perception on the Iran war, on the issue of Israel, is rooted in conflict between the United States and its adversaries, and Israel is a principal military component for the United States. So you're going to have China, Russia, Iran, or otherwise.
In that area, sure it is. But even
Right.
Iraq, Afghanistan, etc., starting back in 1991, you knew this day with Iran was coming. Whether it's going to be today, tomorrow, or kick the can down the road for another 30 years, you knew it was coming. And, this is going to be, I wouldn't so much define it as a war. It's not so much a war when one side's doing all the damage and the other side, or would you call a bar fight if one person just got the living excrement kicked out of them and the only shots the other guy took was a kick at your ankles while he's laying on the floor?
No, that's not fair.
That's not really a fight.
Fair. I would describe it as a bar fight where one guy punched another guy, so he turned around and started punching a bunch of women. Like Iran's targeting hotels and civilian targets. They did strike some bases.
Yeah, and you know why they're doing it. They're trying to rally their fellow Muslims in the area to lean on America. But this fight was coming at some point in time. And would you rather have this fight with Iran's been getting the holy crap kicked out of them for the last better part of 18 months, whether it be Israel, whether it be us, back in, was it August, September? No. Yes. Midnight Hammer. Was that September, August?
It was last summer.
Doesn't matter.
Wait, why do we have beef with Iran?
Oh boy. We talked about it quite a bit.
Question?
No, this is a dead serious question. Why do we have beef with Iran?
Simple version, because Ian, theocracy isn't the answer.
No, I was going to tell you why.
So the answer is that 20% of the world's natural gas and oil flows through the Strait of Hormuz, and Iran keeps threatening to bomb it. They also supply weapons to the Houthi rebels in Yemen to bomb cargo ships and trade going through the Red Sea into the Suez Canal. The U.S. deal with the world is you use U.S. dollars to buy oil, we police the seas. That's the overly simple reason. So when Iran tells the United States, we are going to bomb, trade, oil, or otherwise, unless you give us stuff, you get a Barack Obama, and what does he do? He says, we will give you whatever you want. Please just don't do this. And so he sends them the quote-unquote pallets full of cash.
The British got in there in like the 1920s.
Then you get Donald Trump, who says, I'm not going to send you money anymore. Stop and don't threaten us or I'll kill you. And then they apparently in the meeting had a negotiation with Trump where they said, we have enough fissile material for 11 bombs, and that's where we're starting the negotiation. And Trump said, if you're not going to stop threatening the region, I will just blow you up. And that's what he did. I'm not saying you should support it. I'm saying those are the reasons.
These are that's the modern era since the theocracy got into power. What in the 20s, the British got in there and started siphoning their oil out of there. And then in the 50s, there's this guy Mossadegh, who the Iranians diplomatically, democratically elected, and then the CIA essentially had him overthrown because he wanted to renationalize their oil supply
For the Shah.
Yeah, and then they got him overthrown and they put a king in, the Shah, the son of their old king. But they were supporting it like a proxy until 1979. Then there was a revolution on the street because he was basically corporatizing Iran and making there used to be street vendors and it was very and then he made big shopping malls and he destroyed local. Let me finish. I got a couple more things.
Okay, I understand, but this is not relevant to the modern context.
Wonderfully
We can talk about the history of Persia and the empire and go back 1,000 years. I get that, but that's not relevant to what's going on right now.
Sum up what you're saying. Basically, Iran's threatening to bomb the strait where the oil goes through. They've done it.
Yes.
And what's their reason? Why do they say they're going to do that? What's the thing that we're not doing that they want us to be doing?
Well, there's the petrodollar system, which is a component of what's called the liberal economic order. After World War II, the United States,
I know
Britain,
all about that.
You know all about the liberal economic order?
Absolutely.
That's the petrodollar system. Iran says, shove it up your ass. So we said, okay, how about no? And Obama's strategy was, fine, then here's what we'll do. We will give you money and we will support you. Just don't disrupt what we're doing in the Gulf and in the Red Sea. And they said, okay. And in the meantime, they're enriching uranium. Now, there's two legitimate views on this. I should say there's the overt, what the media will tell you, what Trump will tell you, and then there is the more, you have to be in the politics to really understand this. The issue with nuclear energy isn't about Iran getting a nuclear bomb for the most part. It's about them getting access to clean, efficient, high energy return on energy investment sources. If Iran is able to increase their energy output, they're going to expand their military capabilities, further threatening the region. They've been funding militia groups.
The region who?
The Middle East. Okay. So basically, international oil production. Again, I'm not saying you have to support this. I'm saying.
Oh no, that's fine.
This is what they're doing.
I'm trying to get clear because
you don't get off the show. Basically, what it's
if you don't support Israel,
get off the show.
I don't think you would have called me if that was the deal because I think all my positions are pretty clear for anybody who's had any interaction.
Iran is supplying weapons and resources to groups that are militarized, and they destabilize the region.
So Israel doesn't care about this at all, is what you're saying? They're just here to help us because we're
what do you
the
mean?
ones.
Of course they care.
No, Israel's
very ideologically motivated against Iran for
because
religious
I'm trying
reasons.
I'm trying to get my brain around between what you're saying versus what we're getting from the media and what we're getting from Trump, which is telling us, hey, they're weeks away from the nuclear bomb for 39 years. They've been weeks away from getting the nuclear bomb, and they're going to use it, and they're going to use it against us.
But that's not for you.
That's not for me.
No, that message is for people who follow people like Candace Owens. Right?
I don't want to take shots at Candace Owens.
Oh, I will take shots at her all day. The thing about mass audience is you need lowest common denominator content.
But Candace Owens isn't the one saying that.
No. My point is not to shift away from talking about Candace. For the reason why George W. Bush says they hate us for our freedoms, it's because he's sending out a message to maximize effectiveness, which means when you look at the IQ bell curve, the top 20% is going to say, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. And then you're going to get the midwits who are going to say, well, if my boss tells me to say it, I'll just go along with it. And then you get the back end with the lower IQ people being like, wow. So Trump's going to come out and say, if they build a nuclear bomb, they're going to bomb people. And that's somewhat true. But the real risk is, if Iran has a nuclear bomb, they have leverage. And the leverage they will use to extract more resources and continually be an affront to the liberal economic order and the petrodollar system. I don't believe Iran would actually nuke Israel or in the immediate anybody, but the liberal economic order system, the Trump military-industrial complex, don't want to negotiate with a nuclear power in the region. They want to negotiate with a regional power.
Right.
And so when they go to them and they say, we're going to enrich uranium, there's two key components. We are going to have clean, high-density energy, which means our economy is going to expand rapidly outside of your sanctions, which means more people, more weapons, more bombs, and more leverage. Additionally, if we get a nuke and we have enough materials for 11 of those, you are now negotiating with a nuclear power. Yeah. Trump says, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to kill you. That's
a huge game changer, and you're right. The whole thing is about leverage. I do have disagree with you on they wouldn't nuke anybody. They're sending missiles right now into hotels in Saudi Arabia.
Indeed.
Killing
So
innocent
let me clarify what I'm
women,
saying.
children, civilians, and
let me
care less
let me
about it.
Let me clarify. I'm saying Iran's not going to wantonly just start launching bombs for no reason. They absolutely will use nuclear weapons. That's the point of not wanting to have to negotiate with a nuclear power like Iran. They are Islamic fundamentalists who quite literally have in their hadith that the Jews must be killed. And so, by all means, they're not the only dangerous ideology.
Well, we don't want to start going into what the far extremists of certain religions hold, because we'd have a problem with Israel's far extremists of certain religions, too.
Well, by all means, go ahead and criticize Israel all day. I don't care. But
No.
But Islam literally has in the hadith that the end will not come until they kill all the Jews.
But the extreme right on the Jews, right?
This is not the extreme right of Islam. This is literal blanket all Islam.
Okay, but who's Benjamin Netanyahu's little clique that's actually running the Israeli government right now has in their extreme religious view, along with our Pete Hegseth and their little evangelical.
Hegseth. Got ya.
Whatever.
That proves it. I'm right. I'm kidding.
Have this extreme point of view that until the well, for the Jews, until Europe is destroyed, their Moshiach won't come back, and they can't build their temple and then get 2,800 goy slaves each. They've got an extreme policy that's also motivating them.
Indeed.
So I think we got a problem on both ends here.
Well, I would disagree. I would argue that there are a lot of fundamentalist ideologies. My response to the issue of Israel is we shouldn't be giving them any money. We shouldn't be involved in their conflicts or whatever it may be. The principal reason why...
When's that going to happen?
We're never, because they're a military base at the Suez Canal. Just like we want control of Panama, we want control of Greenland, we need control near the Suez, and we've got Egypt, who gets billions of dollars from the U.S. government for their military because they allow us to control the Suez, and Israel is effectively our military base there.
So you're your position is that Israel's working for us in the Middle East?
Israel is 100% working for us in the Middle East.
Okay, so how many of their representatives do we fund? How many of their representatives do we fund?
Probably a decent amount, actually.
Do we have a equivalent of AIPAC in Israel?
How much money does the U.S. give to Israel every year?
Military-industrial complex.
And you think that money is not used for propping up their government?
That money is used to return back and buy our congressmen.
It is absolutely a component. See, the issue with the hyper-focus on Israel is it ignores all of the other operations the U.S. is doing, as if Israel is dictating our policy on Greenland and northern Canada.
How many of our congressmen are pro-Israel? How many of our congressmen?
All of them.
Pretty much.
Indeed.
Minus 6 who don't get any
How many of them are
funding from
pro-Ukraine? All of them?
Same problem.
Did Netanyahu go like, I want you to all, we're going to take over Ukraine too?
Who's the president of Ukraine right now?
The president?
Well, the guy. Who's the guy?
Do you mean the prime minister?
I don't give a
Volodymyr.
shit. What's his name?
Volodymyr.
Zelensky?
Not Vladimir,
Right.
but Volodymyr.
Oh, right.
Right. Yeah, indeed.
He's Ukrainian?
Yes.
Okay. So you're not going to be honest then.
What?
Well,
The dude is from
want to do
Ukraine.
an early life check on Zelensky? Do we want to do that right now?
Is he not from Ukraine?
Oh, he's from Ukraine.
Okay.
But does he identify as Ukrainian?
Yes.
Does Benjamin Netanyahu identify as Polish where he's from? No.
Does he? I don't know.
No, he doesn't.
So what?
No, he doesn't. There's a point, and you know what my point is.
Your point is that Zelensky is Jewish.
That's correct.
And
so, look at that. We're fighting 2 wars on behalf of this small, tiny group of people.
Well, I mean, not to challenge you about
what's going on with the Ukrainian Orthodox Church.
Not to challenge. Hey, Leonardo, not to challenge you about whether or not Zelensky is Jewish, but like the U.S. didn't initiate the war in Ukraine. Like Russia invaded.
Hold on a second. What did Russia say? They said if you keep setting up your NATO bases at my border, we're going to go in, didn't we? And we were like, you mean like putting it right here?
But listen, Putin was after Ukraine forever. They look at Ukraine as part of Russia.
Well, because there's a huge part of people that overlap that are both they speak both Ukrainian and Russian, and there's a huge group of people that actually identify as Russian.
So let me ask you:
But it's besides the point, because I actually don't think we should be involved with either one of them.
Indeed, and so the issue I bring up when you mention that you don't
like Texas and Mexico.
So here's
overlap Russia and Ukraine.
Oh yeah.
Texas and Mexico.
Yeah, well now we've got Mexicans
Texas
trying to do a
reconquista. Watch your ass.
When the oligarchs
real
split
quick,
up.
I want to answer the point you made about when I'm talking about Islam and literally in the hadith saying the end will not come until the tree and the rock say there's a Jew hiding behind me, come kill them. There's 1.8 billion Muslims.
Oh, first of all, if you want me to defend Islam, you picked the wrong girl.
Because
I 100% think
I'm not asking you to defend Islam. I'm making the point that
no position in the West.
You're comparing a nation of what? How many people are in Israel?
There's like 14 million.
14? No, it's not
like
that much.
No, I'm talking about Jews in
the diaspora itself is 14 million, but Israel's have a substantially smaller.
Well. Hold on a second, because it's forbidden to take an actual census in Judaism. It's forbidden to take that. They base their population based on active synagogue participation, actually. So the estimate.
So it's less than that.
No, so
Mary and Joseph went to the census. That's why
their
we're there.
14 to 15 million is based off of active synagogue participation.
So in 2026, the population of Israel was between 9,500,000 and 9,650,000.
Look, it's irrelevant.
Real quick, do you think Zelensky was put in there by Jews?
Absolutely, 100%. Because I have a gut.
No. I'm saying why did they put him in there?
Well, I think they want to build a little pathway between Israel and Ukraine and have that control, and also
what control of what?
I don't know. I just
see. This is the issue. Can I learn you some things?
No. Actually.
Okay, then I won't.
No.
Then I won't. Far be it from me to tell a woman what to think.
Absolutely not. This is the age of pure retarded womanhood, and I'm going to take advantage of that.
I want to know when they.
You've been doing a good job.
When
Thank
the Cold
you.
War ended and they split up the Soviet Union, whoever the oligarchs were that decided the new borders took that part of the Ukraine away from Russia, gave it to the Ukraine on purpose because they wanted to disempower the new Russian country, take away its make sure it didn't become the hegemon in the region, and give it no access to the Black Sea. So they took away Sevastopol and the Crimea. They gave it to the Ukraine. Probably, money guys, oligarchs. I don't know who they were. Let's find out. And Russia's like, bro, we can't get into the Mediterranean Sea. It's like if they took off a partition on the west coast of the U.S. and gave a little strip all the way to Canada, all the way down the coast. You think we wouldn't invade to take Pacific Coast access back? We would. And so the Russians want their Black Sea access back.
They do, and to be fair, it's not like I want Russia to have that because Russia, I'm ethnically Albanian, and Russia empowered a bunch of Serbs to go into my country and start genociding my people. So I'm not necessarily like pro give Russia access to the Black Sea, but it's kind of disingenuous to say Russia just invaded Ukraine out of nowhere.
Well, no one's saying
No, it
that,
wasn't
but
out of
I'll tell you what
nowhere.
I think. I think that the military-industrial complex was facing a big challenge in the 2010s, and that was you look at the rise of Alex
That
Jones.
was they couldn't figure out how to make more money. off
No,
of
they
more
couldn't
dead people?
control people like Alex Jones, who were actually starting to, aside from the more wacky things Alex does say, starting to actually crack through their psychological operations. And so it got to a point where at the end of the 2010s, the information was leaking at an alarming rate, especially with WikiLeaks, and they could not control it with the internet. However, what you just said about why Israel wants a corridor to Ukraine is like, I want to try to refrain from being mean, but like made up internet BS, right?
Listen, all I peddle in is made up internet BS.
Well, there you go.
So if you're not
So
going
let's
to
help
let
out the
me
people.
bring what my field of expertise is,
Like Candace.
then first of all, Candace is doing a better job. Shout out Candace, dude. Hook me up with your fucking production team because I can spin a yarn. And second of all, I don't think everything Candace is saying is wrong, but she gets a little wacky.
Oh
out
man,
there.
a little wacky.
Look,
she claimed my brother tried to kill me, and people believe this stuff.
how dare you speak out against a powerful black woman? That's all I have to say. Okay.
Well,
this
you've
is
never seen
that
this show before.
old Asian African tribal warfare that's going on right now. you're half Korean, right, or something? Is that
Quarter.
Well, we're gonna go.
And
we're gonna go with
magically, we
half.
learned through DNA that 5% Japanese, if you know what that means.
What does that mean?
The rape of Nanking. Look it up. Yeah, Japanese were crazy.
Koreans don't
insult the
consensually
Japanese,
have
dude.
part Japanese in them for the most part. I love it because Japanese people get really mad at me when I say that. I'm part Japanese. You can't do anything about it now. It's what you get.
Correct, Sensei.
Okay, so real quick, for the listeners at home to understand why the Ukraine war happened, it's because there's a series of countries the U.S. wanted to overthrow for a variety of reasons. One of the principal reasons for the Ukraine war is the Qatar-Turkey pipeline, where the U.S. wanted to build an oil pipeline through Iraq, through Syria, Turkey, into Europe to offset Russia's Gazprom gas monopoly. They control 20% of natural gas into Europe through Ukraine. Bashar al-Assad told the United States, sorry, I won't let you do this. We are allied with Russia. They have a naval base in Tartus. So this
This is the guy in Turkey.
No,
said
this is Bashar al-Assad in Syria.
Okay, all right.
And so the U.S. then went, he's a terrorist who needs to be killed. And then Barack Obama started sending weapons to the rebels, which eventually become ISIS, destabilizing the region in the hopes that Assad will get removed from power and then we can resume the construction of our natural gas pipeline. The principal issue is that for Europe to get energy, they principally have to get it from Russia, who charges a lot of money for it, which gives Russia economic power and it gives them negotiating power. It had nothing to do with Israel. It had nothing to do with Zelensky. The issue was that
So how does Zelensky, a fucking transvestite comedian dancing in leather chaps, get elected?
USAID.
But come on, bro.
Yeah.
It's less than 2% of the population, and this is who happens to get elected?
No. I mean, Barack Obama represented less than 3% of the population. He got elected too. But by all means,
wait, are you saying he represented less than 3% because he was mixed race?
Yeah.
Well, that's not the way people saw him.
no, of course, I agree.
So he
My point
represented
is less
every
than 13%.
He represented every non-white and every self-hating white.
Sure. The point I'm making is that the United States wanted, I should say the Western powers, we call it, Europe and the United States, wanted to take, so when we couldn't get the pipeline through Syria, the alternative to that is to control the access point. So you get the bombing of the Nord Stream pipeline, which was Russia's delivery mechanism into Germany, because Donald Trump was pissed off that while we're trying to get cheaper energy and we're fighting Russia, Germany's cutting deals, effectively financing the war in Ukraine, which the whole point of was to get cheaper gas. If we can get Ukraine, and we can cut off Russia from the Black Sea through Sevastopol by taking control of Ukraine, then Russia is going to be severely detrimented economically. And
well, let me ask
Russia
you something.
invades.
Why couldn't they just get an ethnic Ukrainian who wants this also to be the prime minister?
Because I think only people like you care about the Jewish background of Zelensky.
Whoa.
You people.
You people.
Well, first of all,
Yeah.
He's talking about women. He's talking about women. He's talking about women.
Listen to Candace
Albanian women.
Well, I don't listen to Candace Owens. I can't afford her premium subscription. I just see I see the clips like you, dude.
Tell more jokes.
That's true. Just the clips.
You know what?
So
You keep it up, and I'm gonna make sure your other knee doesn't
But
work.
no, hold on. Here's a question for
Yeah,
you.
but
Like,
crawl everywhere.
when Israel set this show up, why did they get a Korean person to do it?
Listen, you're obviously quite intelligent, Tim, and
It's the Korean.
you have decided to ally yourself with the forces of evil, and that's okay.
why.
And
Are you
everybody,
talking about the Jews?
Everybody thinks you're wearing a beanie because you're hiding a yarmulke under there.
I am.
I know that it's because you have two horns. You don't want anybody to see.
No, they
Could be a bald spot. Could be
No,
a
it's
bald
complete
spot.
and total
Could be
baldness.
a bald spot side.
I think the danger
Yeah, it's just one small spot.
of Zelensky being Jewish is it's a correlation, and there is no evidence that anyone did anything. So to speculate sort of
Listen,
poisons
I
it.
have
Aren't
something
you
called
Jewish?
no. Yes. And so I hate myself. No,
That proves it.
I have low IQ anti-Semitism. You understand? And this helps me steer my life correctly. Just like low IQ racism, right? I see a Mexican and I go, I'm not getting raped today. And I cross the street. Now, the Mexican might just be a normal guy, right? But
He also could be a cholo.
he could be a cholo.
Yeah.
And
So watch your
this
ass.
has helped me in my life. So you're not going to take away the only weapons of self-defense I have.
Wait, hold
all
on.
right?
Did
What
like a
others
Jewish guy
do?
try to rape you or something?
Oh, listen, I grew up in the Bronx. Everybody was trying to rape me. Okay?
That's
She was
actually
feeling good back in the
this is
day.
important. This is
Yeah.
actually how women think.
Young bloomer.
First
early
of all,
bloomer.
this is a true story, okay?
Getting
From
that
the-
Bronx hair, that Bronx finger
From-
going.
This is a true story. I grew up in the Bronx in an apartment building. 3 doors down, I had a
love that
pedophile
band.
neighbor, little pedophile neighbor, who started stalking me from the ages of 8 to 11. Looked a little bit like you there, Tim. Bald
Was he
head.
Korean?
No, he was just bald head. Looked
Turned
like
12, lost interest.
a druggy guy. Used to come knock on my door and be like, "Hey, can you open?" I was a smart little kid, so I knew. I was like, "Oh, my mom told me like a lot of people are gonna want to
Stranger
rape you
danger.
because you're a good-looking
You were
kid."
like, no, I want to open the door because you're Jewish.
And-
he was
and-
like, damn,
He was Jewish.
that proves it.
So that's where it started. So now I don't.
Acidic?
No, he wasn't. He was a non-functioning. But here's the thing.
Non-functioning.
His
not
parents,
practicing.
lived in the apartment before him. They were the nicest old Jewish couple. They were so sweet to us. And then he moved. His dad died,
Racist
and then he
pedo
moved
ass.
in, and his mom ended up like aging crazy within a year of him moving in there and dying. And then he started trying to rape me. So
He was poisoning
my
her, most likely.
opinion on all of this is there's a couple different psychological operations we've seen through social media manipulation to get people to support war. And there's also foreign adversaries that try to manipulate social media. There's a lot of weird stuff going on that I couldn't begin to even understand as to why. For instance,
is this
like,
going to be about Candace Owens again? Because I feel
it could be if you want it to be.
Did you guys like break up or something?
We were
going on?
never friends.
Really?
Like I knew her.
She's been on the show before.
Yeah, we were on the show a couple times, and I was like, friendly. But if you want it to be about her, then I'll
No,
shift.
I don't.
Too late. She brought it up.
No,
Too late.
Just go
why,
down
why,
the path.
why is it that she's allowed to break all of YouTube's rules and get put on the front page?
It's because she's black, dude. There's different rules for blacks.
She's
Because
kinda-
nobody
she-
really
she
listens
is kind
to
of hot,
them.
too. She's kind of hot.
The other
All
question
right,
is,
we'll just take it easy over there.
why isn't Erica Kirk suing her?
Maybe it's a little WWE
Have
style.
you seen some of the things people have been posting on Threads and Blue Sky about Erica Kirk?
No, I don't go hang out with
nuts.
gay people.
She just got invited
Women
to join
are
the government.
insane,
Did you guys
bro.
see that? She's gonna.
Yeah, she took Charlie Kirk's seat on the board of the Air Force or something.
Listen,
Academy.
whatever you think about that situation, you got to admit it's a little weird that your husband gets publicly executed and then you're like in leather pants doing acrobatics with freaking fireworks going off. Everybody's going to feel a little weird about that. Maybe everybody does grieve differently, but they do grieve, and it's a little weird. So
maybe a little.
I'm not going to go
saying?
down. No.
What are you saying?
I think seeing your
no.
husband
I
get his
think
jugular
It's
blown out's a
not
little weird
maybe
too.
a little. It's a little
No.
weird.
You said it was a little weird, and I said, yeah, a little. And then you said no.
It's like extremely weird.
Oh, it's extremely weird.
It's quite weird to watch that and then just go, okay, yeah, I guess this is just everybody does things differently. It's weird.
It is.
She's in such a high stress situation. I can't blame her for any.
But I
weird...
don't even like my thought of the matter is she's like probably on Xanax. It's just
No.
like
Well-
when I hear
Vodka.
hose, I think horses,
That
not
could
zebras.
do it. That could do it.
It-
That could do it.
and what do you think you do when you watch your husband get his head blown off?
I don't know because
probably
that
take
was
Xanax.
that wasn't even my husband, and that was fucking traumatizing.
Indeed, I and all my friends. I mean, it was insane when this was going on, and everyone's trying to figure out what's happening. I say this with the utmost respect to my friends at Turning Point USA and the people who hate me there. That I'm not trying to be a dick, but I think it's fair to say that a woman who watches her husband get assassinated probably got some mood stabilizers. And so people are like, why is she acting like that? I'd imagine if you watched your husband die publicly being shot in the throat, you might be on an antidepressant.
Yeah, but it's also got a little bit of the
Jackie O,
mega
remember
church
she got some too back in
pastor.
the day? She
And
was
so
next
people
to
are
him.
like, why is she acting that way? I think like women are all on antidepressants and they haven't even witnessed their husbands getting murdered. So it's like, why is she acting that way? Because she got prescribed a mood stabilizer.
Or just stress. Stress will make you fucking crazy.
I think one of the problems we have right now in this country is that the Democrats have always been the party, not always, but I would say at least in my lifetime, they've been the party of the masses are really dumb, so say whatever you have to say so that they vote for you. And Republicans have been it's a mixed bag. Many of them are also doing the same thing.
I mean, George W. Bush, right? That was
Indeed.
the era
But
of-
the problem is Republicans were always slightly smaller than Democrats. So there was a decent amount of middle of the road people that were hard to swing, and those are your independents for the most part. And so negotiating with them is tough. If you're trying to get support for a war, then you're going to go lowest common denominator. They hate us for our freedoms, and you'll get a little bit on both sides, which makes you bigger than that middle of the road that can shift things back and forth. So when I see like, I got to be honest, like this really low tier like Zelensky's a Jew stuff, I'm like, man,
That's not even
I've been
the
tr-
thing. The
I've
thing,
been
the real
tracking-
thing is why we've been at war in the Middle East since the foundation of Israel. We did not go to any wars with the Middle East before the
Are you
foundation
familiar
of
with the
Israel.
Barbary Wars?
It doesn't matter.
There was
Let's move on
conflict.
to what I'm talking about. And every single one of these wars has been championed by Mr. Miliyowski, however you say his actual real name, Benjamin Netanyahu. And
Benjamin.
honestly, look, I don't want to see Americans dying for something that doesn't have anything to do with them.
That's not true.
And yes, it is true.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is true.
No, it isn't. It's completely wrong.
Okay,
and,
it's
and
not-
my point earlier
it's not
was
completely
I've been
wrong.
tracking this stuff like basically my whole life since the Iraq War. My whole life has been entrenched in the politics of these things. And then all of a sudden, some retard goes to the internet and says it was Israel the whole time.
Hey, I've been a
I'm not talking
retard
about you.
even before I was on
I'm
the
talking about
internet.
higher profile individuals who are going on big shows and being like, it's actually Israel the whole time. And I'm like, hold on there a gosh darn minute. We had a major conflict with China over the Nicaraguan canal. That was not Israel. But the Israel people don't read at all. They never read. They see a meme online about a rabbi and then they say a nasty thing about the Goyim. And they're like, well, now I'm angry. I'm angry for this reason. And I'm like, you are allowed to hate Israel. That was always allowed. But the love of God. Can you talk to me about
Actually, you're
Panama? Can you
not.
talk to me about Greenland? Can you talk to me about Taiwan? Can you talk to me about...
It's
Wait,
worth
how many
hold on one
states-
second. It's
how-
worth noting that like the entire aughts, right? the entire time between like 2001 to 2010, everybody was saying that the war was for oil. It was all about just getting the oil. It's all about the oil.
No blood
and
for
now,
oil.
Yeah, no blood for oil. And now the modern thing that's going on is, it's all wars for Israel. And it flipped. That was a real change.
I know what you're talking about, but at the same time, also, if you remember, a lot of people were saying that Bush did 9/11, and now a lot of people are saying...
People didn't start
Now
saying
saying
Bush
the Jews
did
did 9/11
now
because they're retarded.
Now they're saying Israel had a hand in that.
Yeah, because they're retarded. Saudis are being sued over their involvement in 9/11, and they were protected by the U.S. government. Why? Because we had the petrodollar contract with Saudi Arabia, and we don't want to lose. Basically, it functions like this. Saudi Arabia, one of the largest oil producers in the world next to Venezuela, agrees that if anybody wants to buy from them, they have to use U.S. dollars, which means China has to buy U.S. bonds, U.S. dollars before they can buy oil. So when the Saudis are implicated in 9/11, the U.S. says, we're going to cover this up and protect you. However, they weren't able to completely, and there's an active lawsuit ongoing over Saudi involvement. And the reason why these people are being protected is because Donald Trump is desperate to re-up the petrodollar contract, which ended, I think, a couple years ago. Which means China and Russia are going to start trading in other currencies, and they already have been doing this. And so the response, and I'm going to tell you this, the Iran war, we predicted it a long time ago. We talked about it endlessly. When the petrodollar contract with Saudi Arabia ended, I said, we are going to get a Middle Eastern war right now. It's going to be largely at their behest.
June 9th, 2024.
Indeed, because we have to get back on this contract. Otherwise, the U.S. economy crashes. And so I will just say this as to the issue of Israel. By all means, criticize their ideology, criticize their government.
There's 38 states
it's
that
fine.
have anti-BDS laws. They're passing anti-Semitism bills against the First Amendment.
Now tell me about any of the other bills they have that are comparable for other countries.
How many states have you can't say anything about China? How many of them have
How many?
How many?
You don't know?
You tell me.
You made the point. So you tell me what these states are doing.
You tell me, because you don't know. None of them exist.
No. You don't understand how this works.
If
you make a point and I ask you to elaborate on it, and you can't.
There are zero states that have you can't criticize China laws. Correct?
You're sure?
Correct.
I don't know. You made a point. I'm asking you to elaborate.
Yes.
Look it up.
Yes,
All right.
that's correct. There are 38 states that have anti-BDS laws. Are you kidding me? I thought this was the country of free speech. I thought this is the country of free association.
What do those laws do?
They make it so that if you work in the government, you cannot protest Israel. You can't boycott them.
If you work in the government?
That's correct. If you're like a government contractor.
You mean if you're a private company that does government contracting?
That's correct.
You can't boycott Israel.
That's correct. You can't boycott Israel.
I disagree with that.
So that's why you can't just be like, oh, people are just crazy.
No, they are, though.
No, hold on. You can't just be like, oh, they're just seeing Jews everywhere.
They are.
When there is literally laws that protect Israel in a way that don't even protect Americans. Like here, Texas, fucking Texas, okay? There's a little tiny city of San Marcos, which is so small, okay? Every state, every city makes a contribution to Israel. San Marcos was going through their budget. They realized, holy shit, we're giving this much money to Israel. It wasn't a huge amount because they're tiny. And they go, you know what? We got potholes. We don't want to do that. So we object. You know what Governor Abbott said? We're going to withhold any funding from you if you do that.
Sounds like a Texas thing. So
it's not just here.
So the point, we don't disagree on that issue. The issue is you've identified a circumstance which is objectionable.
That's
then
correct.
extrapolated all other foreign policy to this thing.
Check the answer out I asked the chat. It says there are no U.S. states with laws that prohibit speaking critically about Chinese. The First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution protects freedom of speech, including the right to criticize foreign governments.
That's not BDS, though.
So I replaced
BDS,
the word China with Israel. Yes, there are 38 states. It tells you, and the reason you can't criticize China because of the First Amendment. 38 states, you can't speak critically about Israel. So, sorry, Tim, I didn't want to waste time with this.
BDS is relating to government contracting with Israel.
I'm sorry if I don't like the erasure of American freedoms, freedom of speech being the number one, because I'm a fucking comedian, and there is shit that they canceled me for, not about Israel, other racial jokes, right? And people actually feel like if I say something that offends their sensibilities, they have a right to physically attack me. Now you tell me how we're supposed to go forward as an American country with freedom of speech and liberty when you literally are training 50% of the population to think that violence is a perfectly...
You carry a gun.
So do they.
What violence are you referring to? I missed that. I'm sorry.
Well, I've made jokes that have pissed people off, and I've literally had people send me death threats, say they're coming to my show and they're going to kill me.
Yeah, you're a lightweight. You're a fucking lightweight.
I know you said that, but what I'm saying is,
I think the Ukrainians control everything.
So that's happening on an emotional, social level. But then our own government is actually passing laws to make your freedom of speech.
There are people in government that are stepping over the line when it comes to things like, speaking about, you can't make this joke, you can't make these remarks, you have to protect people from anti-Semitism. I think that any of those laws, any regulation about what people are allowed to say or what jokes people can make, those are all ridiculous, but there is a difference between when there's people that are passing laws and the stuff that you're talking about if people are making threats because they don't like what you're saying.
I fully agree, but I think our culture is being shaped top down.
I
think the Ukrainians have been controlling everything from the beginning. I mean, have you ever stopped to think about it? We have given. Okay, so you plug your ears.
Please.
We have given Ukraine more money in 2 years than we've given Israel in 70.
Okay.
Did you know that?
Thank you.
Did you know that we have our members of Congress, each and every one of them, waving Ukrainian flags in our Congress?
Thank you, Tim. Thanks for that. I appreciate this.
You don't care about that.
No.
You literally don't care that our members of Congress are flying Ukrainian flags.
This doesn't fit with my paradigm of reality, so I'm going to just leave it out.
So it just doesn't happen.
Oh, so you're a liberal now.
Yeah.
It's all connected.
There you go. We flip right here on set.
The liberal order just wants the whole area. I don't
Okay,
think
so
they
you're
want
wrong
No, because
you
I
don't
blame-
read.
I
There
blame,
are actually several states that have comparable anti-BDS laws for China. Indeed.
Yeah, okay, where are they?
So let's start with Texas. Texas prohibits companies that from working with companies like China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea specifically.
Prohibits working with those companies?
Yes.
Okay, that's not the same thing as an anti-BDS law, Tim. Stop being disingenuous.
No. Okay. If you're so you're saying
it prohibits you from working with those companies.
Working with them.
Right. It does not prohibit you from protesting.
Don't I have a right to do business? Like the point that I was addressing was, don't we have freedom of speech? Shouldn't I be allowed to contract with a country that we're not at war with?
You should have freedom.
Should you be allowed to do a business as a contractor with a country we are not at war with?
It depends, I think.
No?
I think it depends. I think
So
it
no
really
freedom.
depends.
No freedom.
No. Hold on. This whole thing with should a person who has land in the middle of Texas be allowed to sell it to some Chinese investor who wants to come in and build a freaking Muslim thing for some reason to subvert? Should he be allowed to do that? No. Fucking no. He shouldn't. But your government should not be able to tell you that you can't protest another country. There's a difference.
But it's not for everybody. It's just for people that have government contracts, right? That's what the anti-BDS laws
I think
are
a lot
for.
of that stuff came about with
but
Harvard, et cetera, accepting government grants and also having massive protests
Which I like
on their campuses.
I'm in
leading
total
to violence, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, I'm in total agreement with you that people should be able to say whatever they want. Like I completely agree. Any kind of like laws.
These are private contractors who have a government contract.
Yeah. So and I think that even if they work for a private contractor, they should be able to say, I don't think the U.S. should be supporting this or what have you. But at the same time, I'm extremely like pro preventing like communists from coming to the U.S. I like the idea of prohibiting.
Elected one in New York.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he is a DSA.
I actually don't think he is.
Member of the DSA.
If you look at what he's been doing in New York, it's like raising the taxes on the poor, and
that's communism.
Yeah, I think it's red.
No, maybe,
it's red, green,
but
orange
it's
stuff.
having the inverse effect of like he's attacking the people. Well, yeah, you're right. You guys are completely right. That is communism.
That is communism.
He's
Communism
gutting the people who voted for him.
Always ends up destroying the poor.
Yeah, it's the red, green.
But no, to my point, here's the thing: there aren't even equivalent laws for government contractors to not be able to protest the U.S. this country.
Well, there's all kinds of stuff where like when it comes to like
okay,
home
but don't
stuff.
you think that's why would we all of a sudden have a special regulation for this one country?
There shouldn't.
So
like I
again,
said, I
think that
agree with you.
falls
I don't
within
think there should be special prohibitions on people that want to support like BDS boycott, divesting.
Anti-BDS.
I will say very plainly, I've never agreed with these laws. I've criticized Florida when they were putting these things out. But again, that still falls in the framework of the U.S. government is mandating U.S. people support their military operations.
Yeah, and
you've inverted it.
Hold on. Because if that was true, then you would have similar laws for government for private contractors who have a government contract to not be able to protest.
Yeah, there's no big movements at universities to boycott Ukraine.
And there
but
are.
But this is also about.
So they don't need that.
Okay.
And when it comes to when it comes to government, it is honest to say that when it comes to government employees, there are different rules to have contractors. And now, again, I don't think that Israel should be singled out to be protected, but
it's the only country. They don't even have it for this own country, for our own fucking country. You want to say? Oops, sorry.
Right,
sorry.
right. But again, that still falls in the framework of they are a puppet state for the United States. They were a vassal created by Western powers.
That is.
Is it Israel specifically,
When
or is
inverting
it?
reality,
you think
man.
horses?
Are these
Totally
laws
inverting
Israel specific, or
I'm gonna say
are they
this as-
They are
broader into
Israel
Jewish?
specific.
I'm
They
going
are
to say this
Israel
as
specific.
derisively as possible to everybody. The problem we have is you don't read, you have no idea what you're talking about. So when I bring up something like the Qatar-Turkey pipeline, for instance, you don't know what that is.
No, I don't know what the Qatar-Turkey
And you are
pipeline
so
is.
damn sure that reality is the way you've seen it without reading a single book.
Whoa. First of all, I read a lot of books.
But not the ones that
okay?
matter on foreign
and
policy.
And they might be about, having sex with an anthropomorphic bull, but it doesn't matter.
Women do love
Say
it.
that word again.
Anthropomorphic bull.
No, bull.
I don't think you read that book.
No, I definitely didn't read that book. But I do read a lot, but there's a lot there's a lot of books to fucking read, okay?
Yeah, but there's the news.
Yeah, but the news is full of shit, and
Yes,
you know
but if you were
it.
tracking the news over the past 20 years, you're reading things like WikiLeaks, and you're reading the emails these people are writing.
I am reading things like WikiLeaks, and I
Indeed,
did.
and then you would know about the true motivations of the
And
military-industrial
then
complex
I
in
did
the Middle
actually
East.
read. That's why I knew about how fucked up India was. Sorry again. That's how I knew about how messed up India was before anybody did, because I read WikiLeaks, and I happened to stumble across 3 emails that described one of the worst cultures in existence. So I do read, and I'm sorry I can't read everything about every possible problem.
No, just
that we're
Israel.
having.
Just literally,
But
please
literally,
read something about foreign policy.
No, I do read a lot about Israel, and that's why
So tell me why Israel wanted Panama.
I don't know. That's our thing. That wasn't them.
Wait,
I'm not
what?
saying-
That makes no sense.
I'm not-
Israel controls the government,
Hold
don't they?
on. I didn't say everything was theirs. Don't put me in a position that makes it. Don't put me in a straw
Okay, so
man
what
position.
what percentage of what we do is based on Israel?
What percentage of what we do in the Middle East
No,
is
just in
based on
general, of
Israel?
all the things we do, what fraction does it make up?
I don't know what fraction it makes up of everything we do. I don't think everything we do is based on them. I don't think every interventionist war we've had is based on them. But I do think a lot of our activity in the Middle East, and I think this thing with Iran specifically, yes. I mean, when Trump...
Why?
Because
about China.
it's their enemy. They're the ones who don't want Iran there because they feel that uncomfortable. They think like Iran's going to attack them, and they want to get rid of their enemy because they want to rule from there.
So there is a real ideological reason Israel has. Do you know it?
It's what I know. It's like the whole Muslims want to kill us. and
No,
we
it's
wanna get rid
actually a
of them.
specific military reason.
No, maybe I don't then.
Again, this plays to the issue I have of the people who are like, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you the answer, but I'm going to make this point first. You
Tim.
didn't even bother looking up why Israel wants to wipe out Iran?
No, I
It's
do.
because Iran's funding Hamas. It's because they're supplying weapons.
Okay, great. I got it. Yes, Iran is funding Hamas. Got it. So they want to get rid of them because they've got this terrorist group that's attacking them.
And Hezbollah.
Yes. Okay.
And Hezbollah, indeed.
Yes.
And Israel wants to secure the entire state as a singular Israeli entity, and they don't want there to be a Palestine, West Bank, or otherwise, and they're slowly conquering it.
Great. Do you think that's
None of our
right?
business.
So, but they're not doing that without us.
Indeed, because the U.S. uses Israel as a base for the control of the Suez.
Okay, so the
And the Red Sea and the-
U.S.
and the Gulf.
uses Israel to control, but Israel is accomplishing what it wants with
That's
getting.
usually how alliances work. Just like the U.S. is involved, before Trump, the U.S. was spent $250 billion on Ukraine for the purpose of protecting European countries who weren't spending their own money to do it. And it's so that we could control gas prices for Europe. I don't think that Angela Merkel was secretly running the U.S. government, though, because of it. I think that Donald Trump says, or our president, be it Obama or otherwise, they have different strategies for how we police the world for the liberal economic order. So when Russia invades Ukraine for the purpose...
gay liberal economic order?
Indeed.
All right.
And the problem people have with the U.S. empire is that we're trying to make them all gay communists.
Yeah.
We go to Afghanistan and we put up murals of gay communism, and they get mad about it, and rightly so. Russia invaded Ukraine for many reasons. One was that the U.S., the Western powers of Europe, were trying to seize control of it because the Qatar-Turkey pipeline failed. And so we're trying to control natural gas in Ukraine, which would lock out Russia's monopoly through Gazprom. This is why Joe Biden sent his son to go work for Burisma, and they get Mykola Zlochevsky to start an energy company in Ukraine. It's all about controlling the region. The reason why Russia invaded first, it's because their only warm water port is in Sevastopol. Now, some people have argued they could easily build along the eastern coast, but that would be that you're telling them abandon your billion-dollar naval base where your flagship is and all of the military assets and secrets behind it to NATO, or take control of Crimea. So Russia never invaded Crimea. They simply walked out the front door and then said, we're holding a referendum, which was probably illegitimate. The reason the war started, when Donald Trump was in office, there was no war because Trump was basically saying to Russia, we're not going to go to war with you. You're not our biggest concern. Under the Obama administration, that was their biggest concern because Homeboy was paying off Iran and then pissed off that Russia was charging money to Europe. So as soon as Joe Biden gets back in, what do you think happens? He starts, first of all, you get more terror in the Middle East because they want the instability to remove Bashar al-Assad. Then you get Russia building up troops on the Eastern Front because they are on their Western Front, on the Eastern Front of Ukraine, because they know what Biden wants to do. And then they invade for the purpose of securing a land bridge into Crimea so they can maintain control of their warm water ports, which they have to use if they want to sell oil through the Mediterranean, through the Red Sea, etc.
I got it.
Jews had nothing to do with it.
I got it. My point is that the majority of our involvement in the Middle East is on behalf of Israel. Doesn't matter which president we have, we keep getting wars in the Middle East.
Yep.
Trump ran on a campaign. Trump ran on a campaign that said no new wars. We're not going to war with Iran. He was telling Netanyahu, don't do this. And what do we get?
So is it not a coincidence that every one of these wars is for the benefit of the petrodollar system?
Oh, I didn't say that we're not getting a benefit from it. I didn't say that.
Okay, are they threatening the petrodollar system?
Sure.
So the U.S. would do this with or without Israel?
I don't think so. I don't think so because I think we would have a different kind of negotiating power with them if they don't feel like, yes, we would.
Was Trump negotiating with Iran?
I think they would have a different kind of ability to negotiate with them if they weren't afraid that we're coming in there and basically destroying their countries with these gay race communist revolutions that we sponsor.
Yeah, but that's Western Marxist stuff.
And the communist stuff, like the communist
You want to
stuff
get into where Marxism comes from? We could do that too.
You can mention that many of the early thinkers on transgenderism were Jewish, sure, but again,
here we go.
Here we go. What? Because
let's move on because John's getting bored. Seriously,
my ass is falling
he's
asleep.
checked out. He was here under the
You
pretext
see my left leg that goes numb now? It's just all the way up to
I'm
both
sorry,
ass cheeks.
we can't because the next story we have is Lindsey Graham saying he stands with Israel.
With that one.
Let's roll. We got this clip that's going viral. I'm going to play it for you guys right now.
Here's Lindsey wants to do.
All the anti-Semitites to all the isolationists. I don't believe. Forget it. I'm not with you. I'm with Israel. I will be with Israel to our dying day. They're the best allies we could hope for.
Good grief, Lindsey.
Commander-in-Chief and President Trump, who I think is Ronald Reagan plus.
It's a little handy there, Nick.
So here's the problem with what he said. First of all,
slurred his
what
words.
did he say? Seminites?
Yes, he was slurring. It was crazy.
Oh, he's hammered.
Yeah, all the anti-Seminites. I have no problem with saying anti-Semites can go F off, but isolationism is just an opinion. It's an opinion that Americans are allowed to have. So when he adds that to the mix, it's not about whether someone just hates Jews, because by all means, you can criticize those people and say, I'm not going to stand with you. But when someone is an isolationist, even the most extreme of isolationists, that's something Americans are allowed to be. It's not hateful or otherwise. It's a thought. It's a philosophy. To say you're not going to stand with Americans of opinions that you don't agree with, and you'd rather stand with a foreign country, I think is reprehensible. I do not like Lindsey Graham. I don't for the life of me understand how they don't primary this guy and get somebody else in. And I think to all the people, because I criticized him and said he should be removed from office, and there are a lot of Jewish people who are like, no, you need to really listen to what he's saying. No, you need to check your PR because this guy is bad for you too. And he's bad for this country. And everybody agrees. So there we go. And you agree. And this is where we all agree.
No,
and we're going to hold hands.
Well,
You like Lindsey Graham.
I like Lindsey Graham. I like when it's so fucking blatant like that we've got a homosexual, probably pedophile being blackmailed by our greatest ally. I like that, dude.
Being blackmailed.
Hey.
He's not being blackmailed.
I wonder if he's in the Epstein files.
Listen to me. I like when it's obvious that this
Wear a wig, a
alcoholic,
dress.
what's probably
Homosexual?
fondled Brilliant Holland or whatever that guy's name is.
Brylan Hollyhand?
I can't listen. He's got too many Y's and L's together in his name. Don't ask me to pronounce that. Okay. I like when he lets out his little closet boy toy to come out and talk sometimes. So it's so obvious because it's harder when they're
The secret
more
The
skilled.
secret to there was a Marco Rubio quote. I think it was Rubio. Someone yelled at him that he was funded by the NRA, and he said, "They don't pay me to speak. They donate to my camp because they like what I speak." And this is the truth. Working in working for ABC, for instance, ABC News and like these big corporations, they don't go to people and say, "I'm going to pay you to say this thing about Israel." They go before they hire the person. They say, "What do you think about Israel?" and then hire them because they support them. My point is, they're not blackmailing Lindsey Graham. He lives and breathes for
he
them.
just fucks
That's
kids
why
for
they
fun.
donate it to him.
That's right. He does.
He does what?
Where's this coming from?
What?
There's some juicy gossip I don't know about.
I don't know. I peddle
thinks
in,
he's gay.
I peddle in unsubstantiated conspiracy theories that end up
Best
being
place to
true.
be.
So,
Well,
I
the
didn't
reality
have,
is most
listen,
conspiracies that for the past 10 years have turned out to be true. So.
I didn't really have
And Donald
any
Trump's over.
facts about why I didn't want to take the shot. I just saw a Jew made it, and I was like, no thanks.
I hope I'm Jewish. I just want to find out.
I'm saving up to be.
Bro, first of all,
It needs a reformation.
First of all, you're too Aryan to be Jewish. You are Viking descendant
Technically, yeah.
bloodline, okay?
That's right. Ian is a strong Viking.
Yeah, North
I
European.
can sniff out everybody's DNA by looking at them.
At least Scottish.
All right, what else?
Scotch,
So I'm
German,
Korean,
yeah.
Japanese. What
Yeah.
else am I?
Well, you got some. Jeez, is it?
You can't. Once you're mixed, it's like you don't even know. I could be.
And
I
that's
could
why
be-
that's why
the Koreans
miscegenation
hate
is a
Jews?
sin against God.
Do Koreans hate Jews? They got a problem with Jews?
No, but the Japs do.
they might
They don't like
actually.
anybody. They
So
don't like
Koreans are
anybody,
racial
Japanese.
supremacists. They think they're the superior
No,
race.
they like Jews. They think what the Jews are doing is great. They're trying to emulate them.
I dated a Korean woman for 3.5
yeah.
years, and yeah, it was always the argument: who's better in the Asian culture, Japanese, Korean?
No, Koreans think they're better
Japanese,
than
Korean.
everyone.
Yeah, they got they have a little bit of an attitude problem.
Koreans,
They do.
it's sort of waning in modern history, but typically Koreans have been racial supremacists. Like if you are in Korea, it is not atypical to see an older Korean say that they are the superior race.
Yeah.
Period, of all races.
Yeah, her parents off the boat. Mother still can't speak English, and yeah, she had a bit of an attitude. She didn't really appreciate me very much.
And Japanese are also relatively racially supremacist. And you know.
Okay, sorry. Every group should be racially
World War II.
supremacist. It's
Gotcha.
healthy. It's healthy. I'm sorry. Do you love your family more than other families?
You got to define the word love. There's a
Oh,
lot of types of
don't be
love.
Here we
gay
go.
on the
No, there's
corner
at
over
least
there.
Here we go. He's gonna
Of course.
talk about
Like,
Roman
I love
something.
the community.
Stop
and
being
if-
gay.
I love your
Do
heritage.
you
You
have kids?
So, for instance,
do you have kids?
if in order to
Do you
save
have
my
kids?
family, no.
Hey, rocker over there. Do you have kids?
Negative.
No. So that's why you have
if in order to save my family, I have to
you
destroy my community.
You love your kid more than anybody else. Yes.
Oh yeah, I would massacre people.
Okay.
It's not even a question.
Thank you. Do you have kids?
No,
No, you're
absolutely not.
gay.
Do you have
Did
kids?
you
have
see that
kids?
thing that?
Yes. You love your kids more than anybody
Absolutely.
else. That's a healthy, normal fucking reaction.
Do you have kids?
So it can
No.
be like,
Did you see
I'm a
the?
fucking former retarded
Leonarda.
liberal. Of course not.
Did you see what Tucker said? That viral clip
Which one?
where he was talking with Huckabee, and Huckabee said, "Well, you know, they're trying to rescue their children. You know, what would you do if your children were being held by Hamas?" And Tucker said, "I wouldn't kill a 14-year-old." And he got criticized for it. Now,
I would annihilate everyone and their fucking mother.
that's not good.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
I
I'm
would.
from
I would
New York.
Thanos
That
snap
was
half
really
of
the problem.
existence.
That's not good. That's the
Maybe
problem
look
with
at-
people and their
no, Ian.
self-absorbed reality.
No,
If you're
Ian.
willing
Here we
to
go.
annihilate
Here we go.
everything on Earth to remain on top, you essentially
not-
sit on
it's
top
not-
of an
it's-
ash
it's
pile.
not
What's
about-
the point of
it's
I
that?
not-
didn't say to remain
My
on
child
top.
will live.
You're getting
For like 8 seconds
You're
until
getting
there's no world
angry and-
left.
Wait,
You're talking about
what's
destroying
this
the
guy's
planet
name?
entirely, which
Sorry.
kills your
I
kid.
like
We're not
you.
talking
At
about
what
Ian.
cost?
What is it?
Tommy.
At great cost.
Ian. Tommy.
Ian, sorry, Ian.
It's spelled E-O-N.
Shut up, man.
I do like you. I like your
Hairy chest.
liberal
I love
fierceness
your hairy
that's coming
chest.
out. But we're not talking about so that they can remain on top. That's not what I meant. I meant if look, if the choice was between you don't have a kid so you don't get it, if it's my kid's gonna live or this other one's gonna live, it's a hard choice. But every
No, it's
parent,
not.
every parent's gonna go, it's my fucking kid.
Yeah,
dude."
but what if it's your
Bro, it's
kid
not a hard
or the
choice
rest
at all.
of society? Like, at what point will you sacrifice
Have
your
you seen
child?
the Fantastic
Ian.
Four, the new one?
Never.
You are-
At
you are-
no
you are-
point.
Everyone thinks
Okay.
that, then there will always be war and everyone will consume each
no,
other.
because
You
you're
are
not always in
intentionally
that position.
misunderstanding the point.
Yeah.
It's
If
been
we
going
were to
for like
destroy the
4,000
planet,
years.
you would
It's
be
gonna
killing
keep
your
going
own
on,
child
too.
as well.
Exactly.
So
at what
no one
point-
is arguing for that.
At what point is it?
No.
How much waste are you willing to lay to preserve your own species,
Quite a
your own
bit.
society?
Quite a
Your own
bit.
bit, but
Quite a
give me-
bit. But my
78%?
point was you loving your own kid more than other kids is pretty normal. And if you should feel that about your people. This idea that oh, I should be totally self-effacing. This is a white Western effect.
But my
And not
people
even
have.
I blame white people.
Yeah, my people are full of
Oh,
awfuls.
hold on. Name a country, ethnic majority, that does what we do in the United States or Europe.
You're gonna be
Is
busy keep
China
doing that.
allowing other races and ethnicities into their country to take control of their businesses and their institutions
no,
and their
but
media?
the Japanese are a little bit. They're letting in
Well,
some
recently they
Indians.
opened up immigration, but my point is, this is a phenomenon of white cultures
This is
in
a
Europe and the
phenomenon
United States.
of Western,
France, Great Britain. Yeah.
Western, Northern European cultures.
Well, all not
thanks
just
to-
northern, all of Europe.
Well, no.
Look at Italy. Look at Greece.
What Germany did.
I mean,
Albania,
Greece brought in tons of Afghans.
Croatia, Serbia,
Germany,
my mortal enemy, Russia.
Eastern Europe, so southern, northern, and western, but the Eastern Europe are like, nah.
Eastern Europe, because they survived gay
There
race
is-
communism once, and they're like, nope, we're not
Nazism.
doing that again.
There's a funny meme. It said it was a 4chan meme where they were like, white men make up less than like 6% of the global population or something like this, and we are told in America that the Chinese people, despite there being 1.3 billion, of them are the minorities.
Yeah.
Substantially more Asians and Indians than white people, but they're the minorities. No other country does that. And so, at a certain point, you have to recognize white people are doing this. But it's true. I mean, by all means, you can say there's a bunch of problems for it, but why is it that it's only countries that were predominantly white that opened the doors and created these policies?
do you think?
I know what you're thinking.
What am I thinking?
You're thinking it's the Jews.
It's the Jews, no!
It's not.
So they're not doing it in China.
They're not doing what in China. Sorry, I was. I kind of tune out sometimes. You say like a lot of words.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this is
That's
like when a
normal.
woman talks. I guess for men, like your head just start. You're like, oh, that's.
Well,
what happens to
I imagine that's how women feel when words are too big.
I don't think that's my issue. I used anthropomorphic. I've proven.
All
my
right,
ability.
you guys
That's
can
high
switch
school.
spots,
Head-
and then we'll go have a drink. Just let us know when you're done.
It's the
No.
tone.
It's-
I think
it's the
women
way
identify with
you
tone.
said it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not what you did; it's the way you drove. Now, can you tell me what
way I drove.
you're trying to say again? What were you saying?
Why haven't the Jews done this to any other country?
Oh, that's easy. They don't, they don't see them as a threat. What do you think? They need
Jews
to.
don't like white people.
Do you think that Jews need to subvert Africa? They just have to
No,
let.
but maybe
they just
Koreans.
have to let Africans loose. And
Why
then-
not Korea or Japan?
Yeah, why not China?
Well,
I mean, yeah.
I don't think they're a threat. I don't think
the average IQ
no
in China is
offense
fairly
to
high.
The 20. Yeah, I know, but they're not really good with creativity and masculinity, so it's not really a
Do
problem.
you think it's Jews? Well, I think it might be banking industry, and some of them are Jewish.
Banking industry.
Actually,
yes.
the CEOs of the American
I
banks
agree.
are Irish.
The
They're Irish.
Rothschild family
Say-
was the biggest banking
Okay, I'm
family,
gonna
but
say
then
this
there's
again.
other banking families
We've
that
been over
aren't
this.
Jewish.
Yeah.
The people who run the
no,
banks in the United
I
States are
agree with
Irish.
you. I don't. By the way,
They're Irish, Ian.
Yeah, the CEOs, but not the owners. The CEOs.
I don't
The
think
people who
it's,
run them.
Well, the owners
Irish.
are on the scenes, and they can always veto everything and fire the CEO.
But the people who are running the day-to-day. So you're saying that the Jews
Are you
secretly
tuning
control the
out?
Irish?
Well, the bankers will hire whoever
Mo-
is good
Hey,
for the
can we-
job.
The shareholders.
Most of them
Can
are
we bring
publicly
some?
owned.
Can we bring some racism in so we can get John back in the
Yeah,
conversation?
I want to participate.
Come on,
You know, we
John.
got-
John,
you know.
stay
John,
out
why
of
don't
it.
you like brown people?
Let's talk about crime.
Can I just say something that will get me on a headline tomorrow? Whether it's ESPN, whether it's maybe CNN for sure.
They don't watch
I
this show.
disavow.
Well, it'll
What?
we can open Tim to a whole new demographic. If I can just get back in the conversation, then CNN watchers will hear about Tim Pool, and he'll have
Let's,
his ratings will
Let's
go
hear
up.
it. Let's hear
We'll
it.
have all me to thank.
Well, we can
go.
jump to this next story.
Some brown people for
From
you.
Post
Oh,
Millennial.
yeah, some Arabs.
CNN deletes post downplaying
shout out to them.
ISIS-inspired attempted bombing in NYC, apologizes for breaching editorial standard. They actually wrote this. It says, 2 Pennsylvania teenagers crossed into New York City Saturday morning for what could have been a normal day enjoying the city during abnormally warm weather. But in less than an hour, their lives would drastically change as the pair would be arrested for throwing homemade bombs during an anti-Muslim protest outside of Mayor Zohran Mamdani's home. Here's what we know so far. So if, aside from the fact that they framed this in the most psychotic way imaginable, they also framed it that makes it seem like they were anti-Muslim extremists attacking Zohran Mamdani. So they deleted this. But tell me, why is the media so hell-bent on doing everything they can to defend Islamic extremists?
That is an awesome question. I've been wondering that since 9/11.
I actually wrote a
Since
piece.
shortly after 9/11.
I wrote a piece about this. It's on my Patreon. It's the Red Green Alliance. So it's the left and the Islamists kind of coming together. But the thing is, the Islamists will cut the throat of the leftists. It was the same thing that happened in the '79 revolution. Like there was a leftist group that aligned with the Islamists, and as soon as the Islamists took over, they started offing like 20,000 of the leftists, and they actually split and went to Iraq, and they were fighting the Iranians from Iraq during the whole Iran-Iraq war. Now they're in Albania, and they don't have the same kind of power. But you see it in
Who's in Albania?
The leftist group that was in Iran. That
Really?
helped, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know about these people.
Yeah.
I gotta
So-
I gotta call my countryman and be like,
You can check out my Patreon. It's called The Red Green Alliance, is the piece I wrote. But you see it in the UK right now, right? The left is always covering for the Islamists that have moved in. That's why they were hiding the Rotherham rape gangs and stuff like that. And it's not just Rotherham. It's
And they think they're going to be big buddies. They're throwing shade on them. They're covering for them. And yet you turn their back, they'll stab you in broad daylight.
Yeah,
Guarantee you. Try it again, dickhead.
The left uses the same kind, or the left accepts them because they make the anti-colonialist argument. They make the argument
They check the boxes.
that there's racism, and that's the motivation. And
love
obviously, the left has no defense against the Islamists. So once the left and Islamists take control, and they basically get power over the right, then the Islamists take over, and they just
One thing that's always fascinating to me, and I'm trying to form this thought because it's kind of a complex thought for someone with my intellect. The contradiction on the left. So we're definitely taking the side of Islamic extremists who also hate the gays, who we take their side, who also hate other minorities, we take their side, who also not the biggest fans of women, misogynists, we take. So whose side are you on? Are you on women's side? Are you on gay side? Are you on Islamic side?
First of all, they're against the right. That's the
whose
first
side are
enemy.
you on here?
The first enemy is the right. And then once the right is
no,
defeated,
the first enemy is the straight white man.
well,
That's
generally straight white men are on the
Hoorah.
right. Honestly,
Period.
like generally, especially in the U.S. context, generally the right is mostly populated by straight white men, and so that's the bad guy. But once the Islamists and the left take over, then the Islamists cut the throat of the people on the left.
Well,
it's
that's
the,
what
it's the whole-
happens in every communist
it's the
revolution.
face the wall.
But don't get it. It's such an affection for Islam of any category. Extremists. We're trying to not call these kids extremists. They're Pennsylvania teenagers. But they just happen to have homemade explosives with them.
Well, they were trained by, if I understand correctly,
Really?
they were reading ISIS websites.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if they were
these
actually
folks
trained.
who you're taking up for, they also hate women. They also hate gays. They also hate.
Wait, what
they
country-
hate
what country
everyone
we should be
who you purportedly take up for. So
It's a hard
whose side are we on
debate.
here? Make up your fucking mind.
Well, I
So you
mean,
got your back
I
on
would
one.
think you would be on their side. They
On their
hate-
side?
They hate the gays. They don't like women.
I love women.
Well, you don't want them to
I
talk
can
too much.
tolerate the
Exactly.
gays.
No,
I'm about chicks.
In a normal
as long as they're
world,
in a car, driving a car that I'm riding in, I'm all for chicks.
what country were they from?
Syria, I believe.
Yeah, I believe it was Syria.
Was it Syria?
I thought they were Afghanistan
No,
refugees.
they're second
Are they
generation.
Syrian or are they Afghanistan?
No, they're for old. They're actually technically, U.S. citizens. Their parents are immigrants, and they're first generation, which is a phenomenon that you see a lot.
See, this is why I have a problem with us going to war in the Middle East or any war. It seems like any war we go to, we always get their fucking. Can I curse now? Their refugees.
Not yet.
Not
We've
yet.
been doing it, but
Like Ukraine?
Yeah.
Yeah, and she got her throat slit thanks to our leftist.
You want to come up
We
with
don't.
my,
We actually don't get mass Ukrainian refugees. I think people would want
no,
that.
we don't. We don't, which is because they're white, probably.
They're
But
all
we
in
do get
Russia.
all
These are
the.
leftists doing it. These are communists.
yeah.
You don't want me to go down that road anymore, so I won't.
You're just gonna say the Jews?
I
The
don't
Jews
know.
did
I
everything.
like to quote a great man who said, Jewish donors have been the #1 funding mechanism
Jesus Christ.
of racial open borders, neoliberal, quasi-Marxist policies. This might be from a little-known anti-Semite you guys might know as Charlie Kirk. No. We don't
That was
remember.
Charlie Kirk quote?
Yeah, that was Charlie Kirk quote.
You know, it's funny that like
my thing is it comes directly from them. Do you guys know who Batya Ungar
Yeah, we've
Sargon
had her
is?
on the show.
Yeah.
Jesus, you got
She's.
I
can't even say
She's Jewish.
It's a hard time. Well, why don't you play a clip of hers? I'm sure you can find it where they're talking about who built the left, who built the liberals, and that she's so mad that they're turning on them now.
indeed, and that's why a bunch of these prominent Democrat donor Jews switch sides.
Well, you
I've
know,
worked
That's
for
why
years.
they bought
it's the
CBS.
old story of
Jews
Why they
are
bought
liberal.
TikTok.
It's the old
Well,
story of their
years.
Gollum turning on them because they built this anti-white coalition, and then these Browns looked at what was going on in the Middle East, and they looked at the Jews and they go, well, you look white enough to us, and these guys are browner, so this is another example of the people we're supposed to hate. So they just applied their simplistic thinking to what was going on in the Middle East.
There are so many other special interest groups
It comes
to
out
add
of
to the
stupid
list.
religion.
But
Like,
that,
if people want to be critical of prominent Democrat Jewish donors in the state of Israel and what they're doing based on ideology and religion, always allowed. But there is a bunch of other prominent special interests doing the exact same thing.
I never said it was only them. Okay.
There's other groups.
Yeah, there's a lot of groups I don't like. You think I want to see
Like who else?
Ilhan Omar and her little Somali coalition.
Somalis.
The ones who can't even put their tribal warfare past each other for 2 seconds to vote in an election, so that's why they didn't elect their mayor.
What's your ethnic background?
I'm Albanian, bro.
Do you think the U.S. would be better if it was a white nation? Like, explicitly for the benefit of white
Let
people?
me ask you a question. When was America great?
It was
The
always
80s
great.
were pretty great.
America. The point is, at every facet of America, there was greatness to be found, and we've improved consistently while fending off.
This sounds
the bad.
so gay to me, Tim.
Well, that's
Stop.
because you're maybe not smart enough to understand the history of the United States.
I must be so dumb to not
I know
understand this.
it's tough, right? Like
It's so.
we've debated a great deal all the different eras of America and what made it good and what made it bad. I can tell you one time it wasn't good was Woodrow Wilson. He was when it was bad.
Because he passed the Federal Reserve
Oh,
Act.
bro, so much more than that. But yes,
lot, but yeah.
Okay, well, yeah,
did a lot.
that was
Wilson was
bad.
the worst.
That was bad. That was where he gave the Rothschilds control
Well, my
of
point
the National
is,
Bank.
The Balfour Declaration, all that.
we've been the best country.
That was Balfour Declaration right after that. That's
Things are
correct.
always improving. Things are always changing, and there's always a challenge.
So you think this country's better when it's less white or more white?
Well, probably on the simple surface, more white. But I do believe there's a greater nuance to the conversation in that when we look back at the United States, when it was substantially more white, you still had some kinds of issues. But I think in terms of if you want a high trust society, unfortunately, humans, whether you want to eschew, like if you want to believe that racism shouldn't exist, that's fine. But human beings are racist, and the reason this emerges is very, very simple. When
I'm gonna push back against the word racist because of all of the connotations. It doesn't.
Okay,
I know what you're meaning.
I'm not gonna let the left take the word because they
no.
put which.
I know what the meaning where you prefer one race over the other, which you're.
No, I'm saying hatred, prejudice, animosity,
you're
discrimination.
putting all that in there.
All of it.
Okay.
So it's as simple as you live in a village, you know who is safe, and you know who is not safe, and outsiders are threats to your society, to your village, to your town. If a person shows up that you don't recognize, regardless of what they look like, you're going to say, halt, who goes there? Because you fear that you could be raided by barbarians. This is the nature of humanity for thousands upon thousands of years. And unfortunately for humans, you can easily tell someone is not from your clan, tribe, or family because they look dramatically different from you. If you're a white guy, if you're Eastern European, and another Eastern European guy is walking towards you, you're not necessarily going to know. And so they yell, but you still get conflict.
You obviously haven't been to the Balkans.
This is my point.
We
You
can
obviously
smell
still get
Balkans.
We could smell the other.
You obviously still get the conflict. My
I'm
point is
messing
this. Two Balkan states, you might have someone yell, who are you? Like a good example is Northern Ireland. They're both Irish and they hate each other. But it's not so easy to figure out. Now, what if the Northern
Jets and
Irish
Giants
were all black and Ireland was all white? You'd easily recognize that person is very likely not. He's probably very likely from Northern Ireland, very likely opposing my tribe and my family. So this results in low trust. But I also think that there's, I think nature and nurture is probably both. So the people who claim the blank slate is stupid, and the people who claim only nature, you're missing the big picture as well. But we do see across all ethnic and racial groups IQ differences regardless of circumstance. So South Korea, like by studies, has the second highest IQ, for any
He's
racial
making
group.
a plug for his people right now.
Absolutely.
I was
but
almost
that's
married to
why they think they're smarter than everybody. The North Koreans are ethnically the same, but their IQs are a lot lower.
I hope you're like
and it's
Kim
probably because they
Jong-un's
have no
seventh
food.
cousin, dude.
So the point
Yeah,
is,
yeah, it
nature
probably
and
is 'cause they
nurture
have
both
food.
play a big role in this. And
Well,
so, anyway,
sure.
simple point is, when I go skiing, you know what it's like when you go skiing?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, nobody steals your stuff. People put thousands.
Well, black
Why is
people
that,
are
do you
starting
think,
to
Tim?
ski now.
What do you think
so
that
the
is?
point is-
Same playing hockey, right?
Indeed, there's a bunch of viral videos that have been going around
Basketball's
where They're filming people like, isn't it wild how you can put like $3,000 worth of ski gear just on the ground and walk away? I'm gonna tell you this. I had several $100s in my pocket, in my jacket, and my phone, and I put it on a chair, and I went skiing. And I came back, and there it was. I went skiing.
Why is that?
Because he wants everybody to know that he carries several $100s of cash on him.
Well, I mean, sometimes
No,
you
I
don't
was
carry
still there when you
$100
get
of cash.
back. I was still there when you get back.
So I was skiing, and it was 40 degrees, and my coat got really hot.
No, I don't care why your coat's there. Why do you think your shit was there when you got back?
High trust society, higher class, higher
trust?
density of high trust.
Trust. Huh?
That's what it's called. It's called high trust.
That's how
Whatever you want. Whatever you want. I'd call
Well,
something
it's a bunch
different.
of rich people. Rich guy doesn't need to steal my money from me.
I called something else.
White people?
I didn't say it. I didn't say that.
No, when I
Never
was-
said that.
When I was living on the street, I would steal shit.
I
would
never
want
had
to.
sex
I would see
relations
things
with
in-
that woman.
Yeah, but look at him.
of
course he
living
steals.
in
look
my
like-
buddy's car. I saw a bike, and I was like, I can get dinner with that later. And then
Yeah,
when I had
but-
money, I would protect that bike.
There are white trash people.
When you had
Yeah,
money.
When I have
and
money,
if
I
you leave
protect
your-
other
like,
people's property. When I don't, I see it as
I leave my
food.
bike around, some white dude's going to steal it too in my neighborhood in the south side of
That's true.
Chicago. But you go skiing, it's a bunch of rich upper class people. And if they're not necessarily rich, they're high trust people. They work, they make plans, and they don't want to take your stuff.
That is true.
Because I got to be honest, you can just steal the rentals. It's not, if people really wanted to do something. However, there have been a bunch of videos that are actually funny where, like, there's one viral video where a black dude is walking around filming a ski resort just laughing, being like, yo, this is crazy. Like, white people this is how you live? There's another video where a black guy goes to a gas station in, I think, Torrance, California, and all of the food is outside, and the refrigerators are unlocked, and, like, there's no one around, and if you want to buy it, you got to, like, grab it and bring it inside.
I saw
And
this.
You saw the video? He's like, what the? He's like, man, this is how you people live? Like, that's crazy. It's like, yeah, that's...
Where's bars in
that's-
the windows? Where's the bulletproof glass? Yeah.
Yeah, where I grew up, the neighborhood was divided by race. North of 47th, it was all black. South was mostly white with some Hispanic. Some
Chicago.
Asian. Yeah.
Chicago.
And the hot dog stand on 47th had bulletproof windows because they would just shoot at it for no reason. But that was famous gang territory. That was LeClaire Courts, so
Yeah.
a lot of gangbangers.
I
lot of
truly
gangbangers.
believe all the racism is like a mix-up. A lot of it's because it's descendants of people that had been enslaved that didn't have nutrition for generations, so brains don't develop without nutrition. And then it's like it's not the skin color that makes people behave certain ways. It's like what did your ancestors have to go through that makes you who you are?
African Americans have a higher on average IQ than straight up Africans. So they're getting more nutrition than in Africa.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, but nurture matters. That's right.
And
That's
one
your
thing I
point.
would-
No,
this
it's
is-
actually because they have 15% European admixture into them.
This is totally off subject, but
But
I
again,
think
North Korea and South Korea, nutrition does matter.
No, I think nutrition has an effect,
Never
but
mind.
to a certain extent. Sorry, come on, John. Go. Get in there. Sorry.
You didn't finish your sentence?
Sorry, no,
I
sorry,
would cut
sorry.
a woman off.
Sorry, we got to let.
No,
come on, got to show some
So
respect.
I did not give this show a plug, but Survivor about 10 years ago, and was literally wondering. We're hungry during the day, but I'm starving today. I'm starving. I missed lunch. But when you're going to eat again, it is a major brain F. When you're eating about 100 calories a day, you have no idea when you're going to eat again. Yeah. And I mean, your brain does not work. I was stuck on stupid for 2 weeks until I mercifully got voted off that damn show. And I'm just
Are you
out
on
there.
100 calories right now?
No, a little bit more. But I lost 20 pounds in 11 days. Fucking brutal, dude. But my whole thought was were civilizations that lived like this. Like are surviving their entire lives on 200 or 300 calories a day. How is that possible? And living in these godforsaken places with mosquitoes and no tools and this. I mean, 3,000-4,000 years ago, that was your life, dude.
Yeah.
So how did the human and I can see the brain not developing with that little nutrition.
Well, it's fish.
Yeah, they're
like-
hard to catch. They don't want to be caught.
Well, so
Well,
the
not for the
high protein
Europeans.
diet, high omega 3s,
Yeah.
fishing diets were a major contributor to.
Well, I get all that, but I mean to go from dog it's not just the brain fog, it's the fatigue. It's just you don't
yeah.
want to get up and go, man. I got nothing here.
But they were all basically in keto too.
Yeah. So I mean, I was
No
growing
sugar,
up like
so
that.
they're all just like-
used to 2,000 calories a day. When they cut your ass down to 200, you're like, what the
Well,
blank just
Europeans
happened?
learned how to.
But that was what. So
Drink milk?
the comment you
Yeah.
made about smaller brains and not be able to, yeah, I felt that for about 2 weeks going, how the hell did people, back in caveman days, how did you progressively get out of that and get to where mankind is now. Because
I think the principal issue with racism is like, it would suck, to have an intelligent, well-meaning individual of insert any race be discriminated against simply because of the way they look, to not be given an opportunity to be trusted or to live comfortably if they're a good person. And unfortunately for us, leftists have turned that into blank slateism and are now releasing criminals from prison, and people are being victimized, and we get a narco-tyranny.
Yeah.
That group, there's only one group that actually experiences that today on any level.
Experiences.
It's white men. White men are the ones who are kept out.
Yeah.
They're qualified. They're, like you're saying, intelligent, good person.
Well, if history is any indication of what white men will do, this will be short-lived.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for it. I might transition.
Yeah, you get a generation of this weakness, and then you'll end up with a generation of people following Andrew Tate and Nick Fuentes.
That they are building the AI digital surveillance system in which, they can just drone you to death. So it's going to be a little bit different.
Well, they're gonna offer you the Matrix, and people are gonna take it. They're gonna plug their brains in and go live in fantasy world because it's easier.
I'm gonna go fucking live on a ranch, dude. I'm done. Just gonna milk my cow. I'm gonna raise some anti-Semitic cows, and have them. Well, their cows are anti-Semitic. Jews can't digest lactose very often. So.
Is that true?
What?
Yeah. They have a high lactose intolerance.
So anti-Semitic
Asians as well.
Jews can't have pork.
Asians,
not a
pretty much
culture.
every group except Europeans. Shout out white
Indians.
people. What's up over there? He doesn't like
Indians
this.
eat a lot of dairy.
We fucking taught these assholes. We're so stupid, dude.
The
Bunch of
British.
Did you know that before the British went over there was only 300 million Indians? 300 million. You understand how good we could have had it?
300 million?
300 million. There's 1.2 billion of these.
You really don't like Indians.
Listen, I would like them if they stayed in India, okay? When you're coming over here and you're stinking up the place and you're taking all the tech jobs, and then I press 1 for English and I get, hello, Mom, welcome to the Quickie Bar. I am upset.
You were upset about the AI, that you're talking about. In just a few
If you
years,
ever call me, I'm gonna say that.
in a few years, you won't even have to worry about that.
I'm never going to call you, Tim. But if I were going to call you, I would say, this is a Jew, and I'm sending you your check.
What is fun, though, is when, hello, how are you doing? My name is Alex. They go, no, it's not.
It's not
fake
Alex.
name. What's your real name, guy?
Accents are going to go away when it comes to talking on the phone. They're going to go away. In a couple of years, you're going to talk to robots, and you won't even notice.
I don't believe this because I think
Then we'll
there
go back
is
to
a huge climactic crisis that's coming. I'm not talking about global warming. It's going to be the shift of the poles, and pretty much 85% of humanity is going to be dead. So,
Well,
but it's going to hit
in the next
India.
couple
So
of
there's
years?
a
That's
risk.
going to be.
In the next 2
That's going
years?
to be right.
In the next 10
Jews.
years, I think.
Okay, well, like I said, in the next 2 years, you're going to have all of the customer service that you deal with when it comes to over the phone. You're going to be dealing with an AI, and it's going to talk like a normal person.
I don't think so. I think the
Why?
AI is being used to set up to control us. All the stuff that they're saying that AI is going to make our life better. First of all, you have demons running our government who literally hate us.
Well, the government.
Nothing
Good
they're
news for
doing.
you: the government is not producing AI.
Yes, it
The
is.
government.
Yes, it
The
is.
government's not producing.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
The Northern Virginia instance, it's all CIA, NSA, etc.
But that they're not dealing with the AI. They're not making the AI that you people are using on the
on
the publicly
paper.
on the internet.
On paper.
We have absolutely been over this. So it is a fact that the government has been working on computer AI since the 70s.
Yes, for the government, but that's for the government's use.
Yeah, so they have an instance of AI that's much more advanced than the public.
That the public doesn't have access to. If
Right,
I'm talking,
the point is, it's running the system behind the scenes.
but the point that I'm making is when you are going to be using AI to call a customer service number, that's not going to be the government's AI. It's going to be a private company that bought the
Amazon's
service.
I think
AI.
the AI hates Jews.
Maybe I don't
That's
know.
why, that's why
they
Grok
should.
called himself Mecha Hitler.
Well, that was
until he was,
funny, but
Programmed.
neutralized.
But when you also look at like how social media
Lobotomized.
props up most of the people,
He
like
moved to Argentina.
the people who are
Little
critical
black old man.
who are critical of Jews get substantially more play than people who are not.
That's not what I see.
Like Candace Owens gets 150,000 concurrent
Candace
viewers.
Owens, you really should bury the hatchet.
No.
I think you guys
She
could.
is-
I think you guys could be a
Like
power
dodging.
couple. You could be
Tucker
a
Carlson gets 5 million
Tucker
views on his
Carlson
podcast.
was already popular before
Indeed.
anything.
And then, okay, Ian Carroll.
Tucker Carlson.
Even Kim.com has started Jew posting. And he's getting thousands of retweets.
Again, he already had 1 million subscribers.
No. These people are getting more than they were before. So again, the machine loves content that hates Jews.
No. The machine likes conflict, but that's why you will also see pro-Israel posts getting totally.
Why doesn't YouTube ban this stuff?
It's a good question.
Why?
And I have a theory.
Why is it propped up?
I have a theory.
Recommended.
I think they want to stir up this
racial animus.
To result in their, Armageddon battle that they're trying to do. I think some lunatics.
I think it's just good for ratings.
It makes me sound
people
crazy
on platforms.
when
They
I
make more
repeat
money.
what they say.
It sounds crazy that the argument is a group of people hate themselves, want people to go to war against them.
They believe that there needs to be this giant war in which all the nations turn against them, and then their Messiah is going to come in, crush those nations, and they're going to rule. So it would make sense if you believe that, right? If you think you need to...
Evangelicals
believe this too.
Right. So a lot of the Israel stuff has to do with people who want to... I forgot what it was called. What's the ideology where they intentionally... There are people who believe that the end
dispensationalism? Is that what we're talking about?
I don't know if that's what the name is.
Okay.
But the idea is that it's not prophecy, it's instruction. You are not being told what will happen, you're being told what to do.
Oh, I don't know this.
So the argument that the Jews are trying to foment hatred against themselves to trigger the war... I don't think
it's just the Jews. I think it's a coalition.
Well, sure, but my point is, there is an ideology where they don't look to the Bible as prophecy, they look to it as instruction, meaning when it says, in the end of times this thing happened, they don't look at it as sooner or later it's going to happen. They look at it as this is what I'm supposed to make happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, which is what I think the Rothschilds were trying to do.
So the red heifer, for instance. You're familiar with the red heifer?
Yeah, I know, where you got to sacrifice these pure
and it's got to be a perfect.
Yes.
So there are people intentionally breeding them to try and make it happen. And
I know.
They don't believe that the prophecy is predicting what will happen. They believe they're being told to do these things to make the Messiah come.
Freaking hubris.
So don't you think that if you are doing that and you believe that all the nations have to turn against you, you might be fomenting the discourse online right now to be so heated?
So you think that's a possibility? Do you think that's the case?
The
Jews are propping up Candace Owens?
I actually don't know.
Tucker?
I really don't know. It could be. It could be. I don't.
Deep dive.
Yeah, I don't know. It could be.
This is
Mormon, I
actually
get
really
my own
interesting because
planet, so I'll be fine.
We've brought up how on YouTube there are a lot of channels that are getting a lot of traction, and they Jew post quite a bit, and a lot of what they say explicitly breaks the rules on YouTube, things that we get banned for, or we get strikes for.
Like what?
Well, half the stuff you've probably said
told
tonight.
You that we're going to get banned for it.
Half of what I said tonight. What about what I said is breaking a rule?
Tim ruined his career right now.
I mean, the cursing, but what else?
Cursing's not against the rules.
What
saying that you don't like Indians and that they should stay where they came from is against the rules.
Well, I was using my comedic.
We're gonna put
sure. So maybe
mouth.
YouTube will glaze over that. But
I didn't say I don't like Indians. I said I would like it if they didn't.
Don't soften it.
There's also community targeting rules.
There's what?
It's called. They're colloquially called brigading rules, directing your audience towards a single person. It's a bannable offense.
I got a strike because I called Akash Singh a cuck. And
so this is my point. There are big channels with millions of followers that are breaking the rules all the time, and YouTube doesn't do anything about it. So the interesting thing is I've brought this up, why is that? And then the argument I often hear is, well, the Jews are trying to foment hatred against themselves for this purpose. So,
but maybe YouTube's not owned by the Jews. That's possible too.
So then YouTube hates the Jews.
It could be true. That's totally possible.
I honestly think that's more likely because it's a Silicon Valley leftist-based thing, and they're very anti-Israel.
Totally possible.
So they're like, we're going to let these people say these things because we like it.
It's like a BlackRock Vanguard State Street.
But then
thing.
why would they let them also say things against Indians and non-whites? Because the N-word's back on YouTube. I don't know if you guys heard, dude. The N-word's back on
What?
YouTube.
I heard.
Is it back in fact?
YouTube has taken it back.
It's back on YouTube, bro.
Well, there's actually one of the things that I find interesting that we've talked about is
other folks too.
Here's a question for you:
Yeah.
Why is Nick
Hard
Fuentes
R.
banned from YouTube?
I don't know why he's banned from YouTube.
So Nick Fuentes is banned, but other prominent Jew posters are not banned.
He could be.
I legit don't understand why Nick's banned. He's not that especially nowadays.
He's actually way less extreme now.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
of because
he
of
learned his
because
lesson.
no, it's because of the tide of people caught up and past him became more extreme than him. I think some people have become more extreme than him.
Yeah, I mean Myron's more extreme than Nick.
Yeah,
now.
Myron's more extreme.
So, like on Instagram, Nick's massive. He's got crazy videos. They have tens of millions of views.
But he's not allowed to have an account.
He
right?
can't have a YouTube account.
No, can he have an account on Instagram?
I don't know.
I don't think
I would
so.
assume no. So right. So the question is, look, why is he banned, and then, there are other big YouTubers that are not banned.
I don't know.
Something. It's
Is Alex Jones still banned on YouTube? He was banned for a long time.
Yeah, he's still banned.
That's nuts too.
Yep. Because I think the people who are not banned are we call it the pressure release valve. They're the acceptable opposition. See, I think.
Oh, I guess I'm controlled up, bro. I just found
Well,
out.
it's not controlled. It's acceptable. Pressure release, meaning,
Yeah.
if you shut down the voice of a large group of people, they will riot. They will react. If you make them feel as though their voice is being heard, but you turn the volume down to 49%, they're slowly dying.
So that's what you think is going on.
So there's.
So you do think the Jews control everything?
No.
I finally got it out of you. That's
No,
it.
I think that likely leftists in Silicon Valley.
That's a joke.
They hate Israel. They hate the Jews. They're anti-Semitic, and so they prop up certain voices. But Nick Fuentes is a white supremacist. That's why.
Oh, God.
yeah.
Well,
What about-
is he though? Because
No,
he likes
but that's
Hitler. I mean, no, not Hitler.
No, he said racism was
he
dumb.
liked Kanye.
Jesse Jackson.
What about it's the banking industry wants people to destroy each other so they can implement the slave state through AI, spy tech, and then that they win. That's so obvious. Isn't that not obvious?
When it comes to that kind of argument,
Well, you don't get
the
in trouble
banks
for
make
saying that.
money by lending money. Like the banks make money by lending money. Why would they want to kill off the population so they
'Cause
don't have
once
money
they-
to lend?
Because
they don't have
we're
anything
going
to lend money
post-money
to.
pretty
Yeah.
soon. You need electricity and the ability to move a payload.
Yeah, because once you own all the resources and you can get robots to do what you had humans do, you don't need money
But
anymore.
we're not there yet.
I think they're planning for it.
I think we're gonna get a polar shift. What are they called?
An axle tilt.
We
The
might
poles
be
are
able
gonna
to
shift.
repair
The
the
poles are
Earth's
gonna shift.
magnetic field.
That's the real conspiracy.
That's-
because you see all these wealthy individuals buying bunkers, and
I don't think it's for nukes. I think it's for that. And it's happened before, so.
yeah. So here's my theory on this one. I love this subject. Ben Davidson, the space weather guy, talks about it quite a bit, and it was funny because when we first interviewed him, I know I tell this for everybody, but this context matters. I was like, this will be interesting. I'm sure he's going to say a bunch of wacky stuff. And then he said a bunch of wacky stuff that I was like, I looked up and it's all mainstream science. Like, for example, and this may sound naive of me, but when he mentioned the Indonesian glaciers, I said, wait, glaciers in Indonesia? And he's like, yes. And then I looked it up. Yeah, tons of glaciers in Indonesia.
Why didn't you know about that?
Because I'm unlearned on the issues of climate science, and it's never been my focus.
Did you think about reading more?
Well, I don't make videos about climate change or polar
I don't make
shifts.
videos about Ukraine either. I make videos about crime.
I don't go on shows and talk about the poles shifting.
I
and-
talk about whatever comes up in the show. That's on you for bringing that up.
Well, I mean,
Jew
my
hater.
attitude would not be that
And-
I think that glaciers in Indonesia are causing the change.
Wait
I
a
would say I
second.
don't know.
Your first attitude was, these can't exist. I never heard about this, and you had to look
So what
it
did I
up.
do?
I don't,
Indeed, I looked it up and said, "Wow,
I don't have my
a new
computer
thing I
right
just
now.
learned."
What do you want me to do?
Anyway, the point is this. Here's my theory.
I'm not gonna be an expert at
I got a
everything,
theory.
Tim.
I got a theory for you. You're gonna like this one. So the reason why climate change is such a big narrative, again, this is hypothetical for fun. I started thinking about what would happen if the poles actually shifted and the Earth tilted the way Ben has described. What would you do as the government if you knew this was going to happen in 15 or 20 years? Okay, well, you can't tell anybody, right? They'd freak out.
Yeah, because they'll just stop working. They'll be like,
Exactly, and then your economy is done. But what do you need?
Get Elon to fly us to Mars.
That's one
There you
thing.
go.
Indeed.
we're not going to
One
Mars.
of the ideas.
We've
Here's the
never
other
left
idea.
Earth.
That's right. You're not Elon. Me and Elon are.
So, have you guys watched
That's my
Landman?
understanding.
Have you watched
Landman? No.
Landman. There's a great scene in Landman where Billy Bob drives out this young lawyer to a field where she sees wind turbines, and she says, "Green energy encroaching on your turf?" And he goes, "Not green, alternative. We build wind turbines to provide energy to our oil pumps where we can't get transmission lines. They're not doing this because they want to save the environment. They're doing it to pump more oil." I started thinking about that. If we were going to get a Carrington event that fried our electrical grid, a solar storm, or an axle shift, you would want to have ready to go alternate forms of energy that could be easily deployed. So you'd want a reserve of petroleum for your machinery, but you would need to produce energy that could run oil machines with no grid. So you would start telling people, build solar panels, build wind turbines, because after the disaster, we're going to deploy these in remote areas to generate the energy to get the oil out so we can start rebuilding society. So you start thinking about everything that's been going on over the past 20 years, and you could easily take the red thread and connect it all to, they believe, the powerful elites and millionaires and billionaires believe there's going to be a massive disaster coming up in the next 10, 20 years, which could be nuclear war, economic collapse, or a natural disaster for which they are preparing to deploy a reconstruction system for human civilization.
But wouldn't those wind turbines and solar panels get destroyed?
No, because they get stored in facilities that can be protected.
Oh, and they're underground tunnels that they have?
Or the components aren't yet connected, or if there's
that's what Catherine Austin Fitz thinks.
Oh, she's where it's
indeed
at.
She's
the
pretty
dumps,
cool.
the deep underground military bases.
Yeah.
And those are, I don't know if, so, you know, what she's claimed is there's trillions of dollars worth of deep underground military bases. We don't know if that's true, but we do know they have deep underground military bases. There's the handful that we know about, like Raven Rock and Mount Weather. And then there's, I think, Cheyenne Mountain. Is that the other one?
There's one in Greenland. You don't
Indeed.
know about that.
And there's a bunch that we abandoned. There's one that we abandoned in like the Northeast. But it is known and highly speculated beyond this that there are many, many more. Whether what she claims is true about the trillions of dollars, I would actually suspect is probably true.
You know about that underground seed vault they got?
Yeah,
Up in
I do.
Svalbard.
Yeah, that's it.
Where is it? Isn't
Svalbard.
it Antarctica or something?
Svalbard.
I thought it was up north. It could be down
north.
south.
It's called Svalbard.
Well,
Svalbard.
Hot
I
take.
can't blame the
One
Jews
word
for
to
this,
say.
so I'm not interested.
I think we can repair
Say
the
that
magnetic
word.
field. People seem to have given up, and they think just prepare for the end. But I think if we can run
poles
current,
shift,
because it's-
we're all dead as fried chicken.
exactly, it's like a magnetic
all,
top.
all these plans you're making, smart guy, with your turbines and your fancy shit.
No,
yeah.
that's not true for the people. Like Raven Rock's going to be fine.
Yeah, they've survived
Yeah,
other
the
global
poles are
cataclysms.
shifting because the entire Earth's crust has turned into lava, basically.
No. We've actually seen, I think it's called an excursion. The North Pole has moved. It is confirmed to have moved now. It's over Siberia. Now, mainstream acceptable corporate media tells you they don't think anything beyond that will happen. And maybe that's true.
They're lying. They always lie.
Other people who are tracking this, like Ben, for instance, say, well, this does follow the patterns of a pole shift, the weakening of the magnetosphere. And a great example of more evidence, actually not an example, but literally more evidence, is the southern atmospheric anomaly, which is there is an area the size of Europe over Brazil into the Atlantic that is a dent in the magnetosphere that is not protecting the Earth the way it used to, and it's getting bigger. So they say, don't worry, if you're on the surface, you're fine. You won't get blasted by radiation, but planes, satellites, and other, aerial equipment is being blasted by radiation at a much higher degree. I actually think
This is over South
Brazil,
America?
yeah, Brazil in the Atlantic. I actually think, I talked with Ben about this. It's very interesting stuff. We had major power outages in Puerto Rico and Europe following solar storms. And I don't want to put words in his mouth, so he can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe what he was saying was, it's not that these solar storms are anything special. It's that the magnetosphere is weakening. So what should be, we are at a solar maximum, so we are seeing increased activity, but it is still typical. However, with a weakened magnetosphere, solar radiation is blasting the planet more, and it's disrupting our cell phones, our internet, our electrical grid, and we keep seeing these things popping up. When you include the North Pole shifting over Siberia, there are people who I believe it's fair to say, they think that the shift may happen very soon in the next 5, 10, 15 years. However, mainstream science says, no, this is what really gets me on the subject. We are beyond the average amount of years for a pole shift. Fact. It's several 100,000 years, and it usually happens around every 500,000 years, something like this, and we are past that point. But don't worry, it's not going to happen. It's like, okay, well, so we're due?
I think this is the way that God plans on dealing with the overpopulation of non-whites in the world.
I think
They got bunkers, too.
homosexuality.
I had to bring him back in.
I think homosexuality is why this is going to happen.
It's because of the gays.
Homosexuality.
I agree.
Wait. We're gonna go to
sin distracts people so they can't magnetically align.
It's the Great Flood.
That's a great
Yeah.
point. You made a great point.
Because you
That's
know what?
it is.
When I'm sitting, Ian, I don't think about any of this shit. I don't think about any of it.
Yeah, no, I think
when
you're
I'm at
right.
a strip club, am I thinking about this? Hell no, I'm thinking about this.
That's
I
interesting.
think my next cocktail.
We're
a
going
few
to go
other
to your
things.
Rumble rants and Super Chats, so smash the like button, share the show, and all that good stuff. Don't forget the uncensored, I guess, portion of the show is coming up at 10 p.m. over at rumble.com/Timcast IRL. But let's grab what you guys got.
I guess.
Senor Butthole says, in 2024, Trump said he wanted to bomb Iran. He said if they get, he would not allow them to get nukes.
Yep. I mean,
All
he was,
right, let's see. Igor Tigor says, you're such a little dweeb, Tim. Thank you for your money. Ian was giving vital context as to why the current situation is what it is. The West has been meddling in Iran's internal affairs since at least the 50s. I understand that, but going into the ancient history of the empire of the Persians was not relevant
Oh, yeah, but I
to
was
the
like
simple conversation that we're trying to
8
have.
seconds away from being completed. So he could probably tell, that guy listening.
Yeah, it's just that
I think he's
it
the only
derails the
one
conversation
who
for
could
too
tell.
long.
No, it's like, why do the Iranians hate us? Because we stole their oil and then we got their president overthrown in the 50s and installed the king to overrule them. That's why they hate us.
Yeah, but that's a minimum portion of what's actually going on right now. It's
So
like
what
saying
happened
they
to all
hate us
these
for,
magic
like,
carpets,
why,
though?
why do the Iranians hate us for our freedoms?
Well, no.
It's like saying the Iranian people are mad at us because of stuff that happened 70 years ago. No, they're mad at us for what's going on right now.
video.
That's true too. That's the point I'm making. All right, here we go. Cabbage Roll says Iran yearly nuclear energy output is half that of Romania. Iran has 60% uranium. Romania uses 0.7. It is retarded to believe Iran wants nuclear energy. Iran only wants nuclear weapons. They do want both, but they do want nuclear weapons indeed.
There should be a
All right, let's see. Same old man says, Jonie, Israel evil. Me, you sound like a liberal white woman.
Should be.
Indeed.
He just called you a lib.
No, they were.
Sorry,
They
he
said that to
called
me?
you a lib. Yeah.
Oh, well, what do you want me to say? I can't get away from my roots. So
Hitler was a vegetarian, says. Criticism of Erica's leather pants is dumb AF. Should she rid herself of all the clothes that she owned before Charlie died?
First of
Wear nothing
all-
but sackcloth?
First
What if
of
he
all-
bought her those pants?
go look at the way Italian women mourn and then come back to me and talk to me about these leather pants. Okay?
Is she Italian?
No, but it doesn't matter. It's relevant to the point.
Timothy Robinson
were
said, this is the
tight
last
store.
straw for me. Repeal the
Money.
19th and then end universal suffrage for all Americans.
I mean, look, man, ending universal suffrage is right up my alley.
I'm fine with that as long as gays can't
Pass an
vote.
IQ test.
So that'll take care of you too, Tim. Let's.
D-Sage says, I'm married and have a child. In Timcast tradition, repeal the 19th.
Come on.
Oh, man, people really don't like you.
Disagreeing with someone doesn't mean you don't shut them down.
I mean, I'm sorry you have a bunch of
No.
pro-Israel bots who watch your show.
people-
Don't like
Pro-
it.
Israel
No,
bots.
to be fair,
On
I was
Rumble, no
I was
less.
watching the chat, and so it's the people that have paid money to say they
Like
don't
I
like
said,
Yeah.
Jews,
Bankers.
Baker.
All right.
Give it to me.
Ant-Man says, today my son turned 9. Can he get a shout out? His name is Lincoln. Shout out Lincoln.
Lincoln.
Happy birthday, Lincoln. They don't want to
out.
hear from me, so.
No, he probably does. After that fiery conversation.
What's up, Lincoln?
Isaac says, can you believe this twat waffle has the right to vote?
Twat waffle.
I read the one where the guy called me a
Two,
dweeb, too, so I'm not just cherry picking.
Unusual
No,
words
that's
to put
fine.
back to back.
Tim, why don't you come on my show? Let's see how they feel about you. All 20 people that watch my show. Why don't you come on that?
I'll do it and I'll wear a yarmulke.
You already got one on, dude.
It's hidden. It's
all the
hidden.
yarmulkes are getting bigger. I don't know if you guys have seen this, man. Every time
Man,
Ben
some-
Shapiro's
there's a
he
new
does
every
wear a
time
large
the
one.
yarmulkes
What's
are
up with
getting
this-
bigger.
It's like
eyebrows.
changing the
I don't know what
frequency
the
of the
joke
key
is.
of
I don't
A.
get it. I don't know.
have you seen Ben's
Let's
eyebrows?
get back to the chats. I want to see what these bitches have to say. Let's.
I
fucking
can't read
go.
some of these.
That is so awesome.
Like, we'll have to wait till the uncensored portion to read some of
boy.
these.
Are we
why
there- are we there yet so I
Instead
can
of
start
reading it, I was
talking?
like, man, these people really don't like us. Some of these things they're saying, like, whoa, oh my God.
Listen, I grew up in an Albanian household. There's nothing you could say to me that's worse than what my dad already says. So let's go.
Not Robbie says, explain why West Virginia is one of the poorest states, yet 16th lowest for violent crime and 6th lowest for property crime. And I must add to that, per capita. Meaning, despite the fact it has a low population, it has extremely low crime rates, indeed.
You could
'Cause it's
explain that
white.
by the accelerating momentum of packing people together, that it gets worse faster the more people you stuff closer.
High trust versus low trust society, and race is in fact a component of that, much to the chagrin of leftists who want to believe in the blank slate. But it's trust being the most important word. And then you can ask yourself why it is that Somalia is in a civil war in Sudan as well.
Probably Coke.
All right, what do we got here? JDAV says dispensationalism is the correct way of interpreting scripture, biblical
boy.
literalism.
That's the word you were looking for.
And then he goes on to say, Tim, invite her more often. That is all.
There you go.
I got a
See?
fan out
Look at
there.
that. You got a fan.
That's all right. Dispensational. He thinks dispensationalism is the right way to interpret the Bible. That's not a fan I need.
I think he said
I think he's
meant-
saying the word means literally interpreting the Bible.
Oh, is he defining what
Yes.
dispensationalism? I thought he's saying
Yeah.
the act of dispensationalism.
I think it
we'll
was
find out.
what Tim mentioned. Christian theological framework for interpreting the Christian Bible, which maintains that history is divided into multiple ages called dispensations. So I don't
it's not about trying to make it happen. He's saying the word you
all right,
used.
I gotcha. I didn't know what you were talking about. I thought you were talking about dispensationalism because you said there's a theory and then you
There's
went into,
like an ideology of we must make.
yeah,
These
but
are
it
instructions,
was
not prophecy.
before you described what you were talking about. I thought you were talking about dispensationalism.
It says dispensationalism is different than traditional Reformed view of reading the Bible.
Yeah.
So maybe there's something to that.
Let's see.
Manhattan Man says, Lordy, Lordy, look who just turned 40. Indeed, I did. It's all over for me.
Congratulations.
I like how you said it's only downhill.
Kiss my
from here.
51-year-old ass.
51.
Mike
my
says,
braces, my glasses and shit.
Mr. Rocker, you played with arguably one of the greatest pitching trio in baseball history. How did you feel entering a game to close out a win for them? Also, how good truly was Andrew Jones' defense?
The way I felt coming in after Tommy or Greg or John was don't fuck it up in front of Bobby Cox, nonetheless. And AJ, I played with Andrew starting in rookie ball as a 19-year-old kid. Andrew was 16. Yeah, he was 16. Andrew's a professional baseball player at the age of 16.
Jesus.
Played with him in rookie ball, A ball, and he fucking left us in the dust. Andrew Jones by himself cost the Atlanta Braves pitching staff about a half a run a year. Our ERAs were about a half a run better a year because of Andrew Jones. Coming in like third day in a row, Sunday day game, you're hanging. First guy fucking 1-run lead. Yeah, you're like, fuck. God damn, where the hell did he come from? Fucking dive and catch, fucking one out instead of a double in the gap, fucking runner on second, nobody out. And as soon as the ball's off the bat, you're like, son of a bitch. Turn around, you're like, holy shit, he caught that shit.
What position does he play, or did he
He was
play?
center fielder. Just got put in the Hall of Fame about a month ago.
Would you pitch in a way that you would want the ball to go to him?
No, but he sure should cover a lot of errors. He covered a lot of errors up. Yeah, he was amazing out there, and saw that shit. So just one stat, A-ball. I mean, there's college guys in A-ball. He was 17 years old. Should have been a junior in high school. Hit 38 bombs in A-ball. Should have been a junior in high school. Just raking A-ball pitching. He was amazing, man. Absolutely amazing to watch. Yeah. That's all I got to say about that.
Shadav says the Barbary Wars wasn't with the Middle East, it was with North African nations. So no, America did not have wars in the Middle East prior to the creation of Israel. I suppose the point was wars with Islamic nations.
Well, that's not what I was talking about. So
I mean, World War I, we were at war with the Ottomans. The Ottomans, we built Israel basically with the Balfour Declaration and the Sykes-Picot Agreement. We set it up in the Palestine action.
You mean the British did?
It was yeah. I'm sure Woodrow Wilson
we
was
still
involved.
don't know why we got into World War One. We understand the
nobody
official
does.
story, but we still don't actually know why.
Nobody knows how we're like World War One.
I do.
Every-
but
every-
nobody wants to hear it. So.
I know. World War One didn't make any sense if you look
Wow,
back
you
on
think that was like a conspiracy, consolidation of power?
100%.
But
We
there
get
wasn't
into
even
World War
Israel.
One after we find the founding of the Federal Reserve our currency gets privatized, something that our government was trying to fight off since.
Oh, the
Andrew
Barbary Wars
Jackson.
were in the Middle East.
So
You were wrong,
Yeah.
Chetter. Largely stemming from North African countries, but it did extend into the Middle East. And the Second Barbary War did as well.
The Barbars.
Yeah.
They're the Tartars. That means foreigner in Latin, I think.
So to be fair, we'll split the baby on this one. Because it wasn't that we were at war with Middle Eastern countries, but the war extended into the Middle East. But it was rooted in countries from North Africa.
Mm-hmm.
So
Damn
it wasn't
right it
a
was.
war fought in the middle. Like we didn't go to Iraq like we did now. So we'll split the baby on that one. And then it started in 1953. I'm sorry, 1949. When we started going into the Middle East.
Yeah, but we were in Syria. I mean, the Allied forces.
I mean, when we helped them win the 6-Day War, and then they repaid us by bombing the USS Liberty, that was fun.
I meant before World.
Oh, I'm not
during
talking about
World
you.
War
I'm sorry, that was to Tim. Sorry.
You see, you watch too much fake news.
the USS Liberty is fake news.
No, the fake news is the fake clip someone made where we had an argument where I told Ian he couldn't talk about the USS Liberty when we actually talked about it on the show.
Oh no, I had no idea that was even a clip of yours.
Oh, then why'd you bring it up?
Because you brought up when we went to war in 1949.
Oh, I just read that.
Yeah, so
okay, I get
that's
it.
what
All
I was
right,
saying.
my bad. There's a clip that Jew posters made where they edited it to make it seem like I was telling Ian he couldn't talk about the USS Liberty.
No, I didn't see that. I had no idea that was a thing.
Because people just like the internet is fake, and this is what they do.
You basically were like,
You know what my favorite
don't
meme
say
is?
something that's not true right now because this is a sensitive topic. I was like, okay.
Well, what I was saying was false flags are utilized by all sides, and the people who support the war are going to claim it's true, and the people who oppose the war are going to claim it's not true. So that's psyops for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like when it
man.
comes to USS Liberty, the pro-Israel side is going to say fake news, and the anti-Israel side is going to say no, it's true. And then anybody who's actually trying to parse through history to figure out what's going on, you're going to get conflicting histories. So it's just like, I'm ambivalent. How about we just stop funding Israel?
Well, I'm not ambivalent about that because that was a time when we actually went to help them, and the repayment was to attack our own servicemen.
Why did they do it?
Because, well, I know they say that they mistook it or whatever, but from my understanding from the guys who survived, I forgot his name because I follow his account, was they were collecting intel down there, and they happened to collect some intel that Israel was planning on launching an attack against Egypt or something. They were trying to get us involved in the Egyptian war. We picked up this intel they didn't want us to have, and they decided that they were going to blow it. They were just going to destroy the ships to get rid of this, which is not an uncommon action of theirs because they did this with the King David bombing where they dressed up as Arabs, pretend to be Arabs, and they went in and blew up this hotel because the British had been spying and they found information connecting the Jewish Agency for Palestine to a terrorist group, and they didn't want them to have those documents. So but my point is, if we're going to help someone, like, look, America helped a lot of countries. America helped the Albanians in Kosovo. The Albanians never returned that favor, wouldn't even dream of returning that favor by ever attacking anything American. Like, it's to the point that Albanians, like, name their kids George Bush. Like, they'll be like, this is George Bush Salai because of their
And if I ever told that kid
my principal complaint about what I call Israel derangement syndrome is the lack of curiosity on any of the other foreign affairs and special interest projects and like things that are going on. So, you know, my view is like
I think people will it's getting, because it gets a predominant focus in our media, it's going to get a lot of people's attention more so than other things, especially when you're looking at the last 30 years. I understand we went to war in Ukraine and you want to argue who's involved in that, fine. But really, most of our interventionist wars for at least the last 30 to 40 years have been in the Middle East. So that's going to concern people. That's going to be their number one concern.
Like, if you trace the history back, there's a reason for that outside of Israel. And then if you look at other areas where we've been dominant,
we went after the founding of Israel.
Like China hasn't moved in, well, right, which is still, there's two worldviews.
And I'd like to know why we're not doing more against China, who's actually messing everything up with these fishing vessels
Iran is
where
about
they're
China.
going in there.
Iran is about China and Russia.
Yeah,
I get it, but you know, maybe it would have been a better idea to have a different outlet instead of setting up those three to be allies, because China, as people like to say, is asshole.
Which is why Trump is cutting sanctions on Russia and negotiating with Putin, and they're mad about it because he says he wants to bring Russia into the fold.
I get all that, but what you're saying? Oh, people have Israel derangement syndrome. I'm like,
they do.
Our media has Israel derangement syndrome.
They do, indeed. I agree. Like when every New York mayor was like, I'd go to Israel. It's just like, you guys
there's
are nuts.
a reason that people are going to be fanatical about that. The same way people are fanatical about school shootings when less kids die from school shootings than car accidents, but you don't have women out there screaming about how we got to take everybody's cars away.
I completely agree with everything you just said.
So I think it's like, they're being emotionally manipulated, and this is like a primary focus for American politics, which is why people are going to be focusing on it.
One of my favorite things was when Congress finally got together to ban TikTok. It was explicitly because anti-Israel content was dominant on the platform. And then you get people being like, Tim Pool admitted it. And it's like, or we just tell you the truth. that Trump wanted the Republicans wanted to ban TikTok because it was pro-Democrat, and then once the code flipped and it was easily trackable that they were promoting and anti-Israel content, the Democrats immediately were like, we have to get control of this. We can't let
I
them
don't
do it.
care about TikTok. I get no traction on TikTok. You know what?
fake.
I think TikTok is building nuclear weapons. So bomb TikTok. I do not care.
You know why you're not getting traction on TikTok?
No. This is before anything.
Oh, okay. I was
This
going to say,
has-
because you know who bought it, right?
That has nothing to do with that. Hey, I was never getting traction on TikTok. I had
We're banned.
great racial jokes that were not getting traction on TikTok. So I don't give a crap about TikTok. What I care about is that a foreign government is controlling any of our social
China?
media, any of our media. Well, I cared when China controlled it. I
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
I was anti that because I'm like, oh, they're turning everybody into a dancing retard.
Yeah.
Fully
Gay
but,
ones.
But is it better having Israel do it?
Yes.
No.
Because now they're gonna what do we call it? We're gonna small room the like the gay stuff. Small room ban. It's called.
Small room.
Small room ban is when you allow them. The viewership is maintained but isolated from new audiences.
From the gay stuff?
Yeah.
Like what are you talking about, the gay stuff?
So like Dylan Mulvaney. So
Israel's like so pro-gay. What are you talking about?
No, the new
They
strategy.
love gays over there.
The new strategy with
The whole
TikTok.
nation's gay.
Sure. The new strategy with TikTok is to downplay weird woke gender stuff.
I'm doing
And-
comedy right now,
Oh,
Tim.
okay.
Okay? It's female comedy, so it's not hitting that hard.
You know, when you said it's
That was
controlled
good.
by an external government, I continuously think about the
China.
economic fold, the banking industry that's not a nation that has so much power.
100%. 100%. And this is why when COVID happened, you had every freaking country in the world almost falling into lockstep. And anybody who did it, any leader of any nation who didn't, was assassinated. How can it be that you have the whole world that supposedly China, who's our enemies, doing the exact same thing? Oh, we're all going to lock down. That means that we're under a centralized control that's almost complete.
Oh yeah, I think
almost
it's AI.
complete.
I think it's AI.
I don't think it's AI. I think
Yeah,
there's
AI.
somebody behind the AI. Somebody's programming the AI.
We're going to go to the uncensored portion of the show, I guess. So go to rumble.com/Timcast IRL, and it's going to be a lot of fun. You can follow me on X and Instagram at Timcast. Smash the like button, all that good stuff. But Leonardo, do you want to shout anything out?
For this portion of the show, I'm going to rein it in.
Ooh, subversive.
You can follow me at Leonarda is fun E, and all you haters, just get in the comments. Let's go. I live for war. I mean, not the Iranian
Against the
one.
Jews, especially.
Well, hold on. Don't put words into my mouth. It's going to make me sound like I'm a genocidal maniac, and they don't really like those people.
You want to shout anything out, brother?
All right. Speaking of Rumble, just started my own show on Rumble called On the Rocks every Wednesday and Saturday for now. Saturday for sure. We're moving Wednesday's time frame around. Could be another day here shortly. But yeah, brand new show. Our 5th show drops tomorrow. On the Rocks. Funny as shit. It's the only platform I can really be on these days. Totally uncensored. They say uncensored. They can't kick me off. Sounds like a fucking challenge to me. Check it out. Called On the Rocks, Wednesday and Saturday.
Follow me at Eden Crossland all across the internet, and check out some of this future tech that's coming out of Rice University and all these awesome developments, because we might be able to reverse the Earth's
Should be able to
magnetic
do those
field
things.
dispersion and realign things. It could be possible. So stay positive, stay focused. Go to
I'm really about
graphene.movie
coffee.
and check out the trailer for the new doc I'm working on. Graphene.movie. Dillabanti.
I am Phil That Remains on Twix. If you want to read about the Red Green Alliance, I wrote about that today on my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Phil That Remains. The band is All That Remains. We're going on tour this spring. You can check us out with Born of Osiris and Dead Eyes. We start in April on the 29th in Albany. You can check out All That Remains music on Apple Music, Amazon Music, Pandora, YouTube, Spotify, and Deezer. Don't forget the left lane is for crime.
What's up, everyone? Carter Banks here. You can follow me at Carter Banks. I can't wait to get into the after show. Thank you all for coming out. Let's go to it, Tim.
All right. We'll see you all over at rumble.com/Timcast IRL. Thanks for hanging out.